Yeah. Just angle this.
You didn't do 3, 2, 1.
Oh, well, not sure why not. Okay, there you are.
It's fine.
Yeah, I know. I'm just getting this before we officially start the program. What are you looking for, Bev?
It should say like HD Live or something.
Yeah, it's live now.
Oh, okay.
We're good. In fact, I'm going to say hi to everybody and start the show. Fred! Welcome, everyone, to the Dave's Gone By Facebookio program of the stream here on Dave's Gone By. Oh, I'll tell you all about the show, but why don't I start with our music, since that would be the wisest way to start on this Saturday.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. There goes the Daverhood. And there was much rejoicing.
Didn't your meds kick in yet?
We got David Lefkowitz here. He's a Long Island Hearts guy. He's got his own radio show.
I want you all to really enjoy a wonderful program done by a fine artist.
A glorious thing of unparalleled beauty.
Dave's Gone By. Dave is one of my very favorite broadcasters, so keep on listening to Mr. Dave.
Tropical hot dog night. Like two flamingos in a street fight.
Yeah.
Every color of day. Whirling around the night.
Well, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody, and welcome one, welcome all, big and small, to the Dave's Gone By Facebookio program of the stream. Here we are live on this Saturday, November 24th, day after Black Friday, 2 days before Cyber Monday, a few weeks before Maundy Thursday.
Yeah.
How can a Thursday be a Maundy? I
I
don't
don't know what that means.
Maundy. So good to me. Anyway, welcome everyone.
Done, hit done.
Oh, I'm hitting done. We're here, and we weren't here last week, but we're back with a brand new Dave's Gone By Facebook program with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable wife Joyce. Say hi, or put your little hand in the screen. Moa. Going to be a great show for you today because we've got our usual amazing mix of eclectica here in the Daverhood. So
look, you have two people like live, and only Fred is showing.
I don't understand how that works. I don't. Yeah, somebody else. Hello, Stephen.
Can we call him Segal?
We wanted to give out last names, so we call the non-famous Stephen Segal, and Fred, of course, our friend from Friendly, with whom we spent part of Thanksgiving, which was delightful. And I was wearing this. This will be explained, of course, by the way. Because part of what we'll be talking about today is our trip to Boston, Massachusetts.
And Stephen will like the fact that we didn't cross the strike line.
Oh, is he very leftish or what?
Not leftish, but he's ethical.
Oh, there's somebody ethical at UNC?
Yeah, yes, I believe so. He's the remaining ethicist. He's the last ethical person.
No, he's the guy I see teaching, right? No, this is a different person. Who are you, Stephen?
I know who he is.
Oh, okay. All right, you'll have to tell me later.
He's from the group.
What group?
You just teach.
Yeah, okay, fine. So, preach, my brothers. So we'll be talking about Boston. And also in the neighborhood, a very, very special guest. We have an actor and a director, somebody who's been in the biz for about 40-something years now. He was in The Warriors. He was in The Wanderers.
Everything with a W.
Yeah, I know. Right. Well, Wand, Justice for All. He was in that. And The Thing, the John Carpenter movie.
Oh, that's creepy.
He's been off Broadway. He was in the original New York production of American Buffalo with Al Pacino. His name is
talking to me? Is that De Niro?
No, that's De Niro. But Pacino's even like what was he? You never go against the family, Fredo.
Oh, Fredo!
Yeah,
you're
never.
My older brother, and I love you, but you never go against the family.
Yeah. So
I can say that because I'm 13.1% Italian.
that's right. Well, we got to talk about that too. So, but let me tell everybody, the actor, the person we're going to be talking with is Thomas G. Waits, not Tom Waits, the what do you call it, the singer, also an actor.
Tom Waits is different.
This Thomas Waits is an acting teacher. He teaches Shakespeare and stuff in New York. By the way, welcome to Sam. And happy birthday to our great friend Sam Wood.
Oh, happy birthday, Samuel.
Who allowed me to continue doing my radio program on college radio when I came out of New York and had nowhere to go with the show.
Sam, you're a good person, Sam.
He's 30 years old today.
Have a happy birthday and have some fun.
Yeah. So congratulations. And Trevor, speaking of radio stations.
Trevor.
Good old Trevor from the radio station that will not speak its Chinese name.
I wonder if Trevor, are you still doing your show on there?
Sure is.
You're
Playing
kidding
a lot of gospel. Yeah.
Trevor, how can you do your show?
What do you mean?
I thought they closed all the show stuff.
Well, no, they have Chinese radio from Monday through Friday, but then they still broker.
Trevor, you were very nice. You used to drive us to the train so we wouldn't miss the last Long Island Railroad train or the LIRR.
Tell me about it. Oh, thank you. Trevor says this is a cute hat.
Trevor, that's not a hat.
That's my
He
hair.
normally looks like that.
Because Joyce and I, we'll talk about this, we went to Boston, Massachusetts this past week for a conference that she was having. So, yeah, definitely going to talk about that. So we got Thomas G. Waits talking to Rabbi Saul Solomon. We have a Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we go to Cortez, Colorado. We'll have a Saturday segue of songs in the news. Haven't done that in a couple of weeks, so that'll be fun. And what else? Oh, Greeley Crimes at All Times. So before we get to that, let's talk Thanksgiving, and then we'll get to Boston. So how was your Thanksgiving, dear?
It was lovely. How was your Thanksgiving?
Just as lovely as yours, since we were both together for all of it. Well, first we started with a fight, but then we got over the fight pretty quickly.
We always fight.
We always bicker and stuff.
When you know each other as long as we do, you got to have something.
Oh, Trevor says every Saturday. So you're conflicting with me?
Trevor.
Except
but the
it's
time difference.
Yeah. Because don't go up against me with your show, because I'll crush you.
No, you could send him a hat too. Then he could have.
Then we can both be on the air.
You'd have. Then it'd be really like.
We're gonna wait. He does gospel, so I can make this like a cross.
No, ow! Don't do that. It's gonna break.
Now I'm hurting my eye.
Yeah, but look, now it's all. Come here.
Yeah. Oh, it's hurting. What's wrong with my head? That's better.
Put your arms like Krishna here. Like put them forward.
Okay. That's very good. I like that. Like the multi-arms, or is that Vishnu?
Durga. You're like Durga. Maybe Kali.
I don't look like a Kali. I look more like a schnauzer. All right, here we go. Better. Oh, now I'm cross-eyed. What are you doing?
How's that?
Oh, the eye. I love that. The eyes have it.
Wait, this arm is like lazy.
And this one is facing away from the. Yeah. Well, this one. Oh, there we go. That's better.
That one kind of waves the other one. I don't know why.
And by the way, if you want to listen to Trevor, listen to him and then come watch my show. But listen to Trevor on WGBB AM 1240 on Long Island. He's still there on Saturday mornings.
In Babylon?
Yeah, Babylon, Long Island, and pretty good signal for a 1,000 watt or a 500 watt.
I don't understand anything.
I don't remember what the hell it was. Oh, welcome, Stephen. Nightmares I'm gonna have now. Oh, I'm sorry, Stephen. Wait, but from this?
Don't be crabby. Tell him don't be crabby.
Don't be crabby. I mean, it's. I remember when you gave me the crabs when we were first dating.
Yeah, you're my little crustacean.
Oh!
I like that you introduced me to your class as a homeless person. I thought that was like, yay!
Well, you were sitting there, and I thought I needed something funny to say.
That was not funny.
It was amusing.
Funny to who?
Well, to me.
So talk about Thanksgiving.
Okay, so Thanksgiving was really cool because we went to two different friends. Because what else do you want to do on Thanksgiving but be with friends and also
But
eat?
at least you didn't vomit, so that's good.
I was close.
I know, but you kept packing away the food.
Well, because we had lunch with
delicious.
one set of friends, with our friend Friendy, who made a delicious, Fred is kind of a cook there. So he made a soup.
What's amazing about the way Fred cooks is he can alter it to almost any dietary restriction. I mean, that to me is like...
Right, because I'm halal. No,
you're not.
But Joyce is vegetarian.
Yeah.
So he can't cook really, really delicious things for me, but he can make really good things for you. Like butternut squash soup.
He could open a vegetarian restaurant, and he would make a lot of money.
Because he made, and there was a quiche.
Gluten-free.
It was also, right, yeah.
That quiche was excellent.
Quiche was really, really good with spinach, and it wasn't cheese. It turned out to be, what was the white stuff?
There was cranberry. Egg. Quiche has
quiche egg,
yeah.
right, egg white, right. So there was quiche and egg, yummy, And then there was
Eggplant was delicious.
we made some delicious
I love eggplant. I used to take eggplant and make it Parmesan because I thought I was Austrian, but now I know I'm not. I'm German and Italian.
That's right, because she did the
Balkan,
23andMe thing. Yeah.
But I used to make breaded eggplant, and I used to make it for my uncle. He loved it. We used to always have eggplant.
So those were good.
I love
Oh
eggplant.
yeah, for you especially, he had olives with little garlic stuff. I don't like olives, but
olives. Oh my God, I love olives.
And not to be left out, his wife Wendy made a yummy sweet potato and something pie. It was
delicious.
Sweet potato and
I put gelato on it. I was like, oh my God, it was perfect.
That was good. So that is enough. That is a meal, right? Yeah. That is a lunch meal and enough basically to tide over a person for really not even to have dinner. Maybe a midnight snack if you have a lunch like that.
Normal people.
Right, normal people. But we hang with our friend Friendly and her mom, who was there for the holiday as well. And this is wonderful. I'm not going to mention names, but we walk in the door, and it's like, oh, hey, Wendy, Craig, how are you? I know Mrs. I don't remember her first name. Pat, Mom. It's like, how are you? And I must have made some kind of joke. Because before even saying hi or good to see you again, she made a remark about the hat, which she thought was kind of amusing because I was wearing this hat yesterday. And then immediately says, I had a Me Too story 30 years ago.
No, you said something about being assaulted. You made a joke.
I did?
Yes, you made a joke about being assaulted.
Because virtually out of nowhere, she starts telling a story.
It was connected because you were talking about some sort of something.
But this 80-year-old woman is like, I was on a bus when I was 17 years old, and this man sat next to me, this big man, and I was like, oh my God. No, it didn't get that bad. He just was handsy and kept putting his hand on her thigh. Well, yeah, I still do. I'm doing it to you now.
I fell asleep on JetBlue. We were going from Colorado, Denver to New York. And I fell asleep on a homunculus man who was a child ski instructor at Winter Park. He was very cozy. He was like a big bear. I was like sleeping on him.
Well, that's different. That's you physically assaulting his space.
That's right, yes. Yeah. But he physically assaulted half the space of the plane.
Well, my plane to New York, there was a girl who flipped out. This guy, this Indian South Asian man, I think I probably told this story 2 weeks ago, was sitting next to her, and he was sleeping.
Men do the men spread. It's so disgusting.
Yeah, he did have that man spread, but he man spread to me too. I could have push his leg over.
He's an equal opportunity man spreader.
But I think he went on like her, like on her shoulder and stuff, and she just flipped out at him. Did she get
the flight attendant?
No, but she was yelling at him.
Good.
I'm like, he was sleeping. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's asleep. Push him over.
She should yell at him.
Well, she did. And then they had no problem later on. But, it's like...
Then they went off the plane, got married, and had 7 children.
That could happen. Stranger things have happened.
Role-playing.
Yeah. Actually, the Indian man got off the plane with me. And we've had 7 children that I haven't told you about. And they all smell like puri.
That's cute.
Cute and racist. Both at the same time. Yeah. So what else? So we finish our meal and we have a wonderful time with Fred, Wendy, and the mom, despite the hashtag me story and the stories about, not Edgar Casey. Whom was she talking about?
Oh, the Swedenborg.
Swedenborg. Yeah. I never studied this man, but she was like a Swedenborgian.
No, she worked at the school.
Yeah. And they got crazy people there.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of sex.
SECTS.
Yes.
Yeah. If there was a lot of sex, I'd still be listening to her stories.
No, I'm fascinated about the Shakers. I like religious. We're watching Scientology and all kind of. It's interesting to see how people formulate those views and get attached. Yeah.
So that's our first 3 hours of Thanksgiving, and then I'm full. I'm rolling out of the house.
Wendy's groundhog that I often call a beaver. I can't get it straight. He's a groundhog.
Yeah.
Called.
Oh my God! We never remember this. Harris knows something. Fred, you
groundhog called.
It isn't Phil.
Charlie.
No.
Charlie.
No.
Charlie. Chuck.
No, Chuck would no. It's whatever you would name a groundhog. Is where did they buy it? It had something to do with Harris, Pennsylvania, or I don't know what the hell. Provo.
Keep going.
Sakasona, Passaic. Anyway, so now we got to drive over to our other friend, Tony, a woman named Tony. And we know it's 4:00 in the afternoon, and we're going there for dinner. And meanwhile, I've had 2 bowls of soup, a wedge of quiche, pie, something like that. There was other stuff there. I had an olive or 2. We had gotten cookies, special cookies, and Brussels sprouts. Those were good. Yeah. And so I'm like, I've had breakfast, lunch, dinner. I'm good.
Yeah.
And then we get there, and it's like, oh, time to eat. And and this woman can really cook. Tony can. Graham!
Fred!
Thank you, Fred. Yeah. So, and we walk in there, and it's like, oh, good, food is just about right. I'm like, so, but we have a great time there. And then she makes deviled eggs. And I love this thing. She has an egg tray.
Oh, you're obsessed.
It's a special tray.
I think it's from Tupperware, like one of those Tupperware ladies things.
But it goes around, and it's sort of like, it's got a dildo in the middle, and all these little, why do they have that in the middle?
That's so you could carry it.
Oh, is that the thing?
And that's to keep the eggs from getting squished.
How does that keep the eggs from getting squished?
You put the cover over it, but the cover doesn't flatten the eggs.
Just have a plastic cover.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like this mound. It's like
maybe it's for
Close Encounters.
Maybe you're supposed to put flowers or something like to make it look fancy.
To adorn it or something. I don't know. But it's this large phallic thing, and then all around it, little places for eggies, like a dozen deviled eggs, which are delicious.
Let me look up egg dish. I'll figure out why.
So she has the egg dish, which is way cool, with the eggs in it, and she's made, and I'm sorry to say this word, and I apologize beforehand.
I know.
But she's made mashed, tofu.
And also
and a couple of baked, things. And one of my favorite things in the world that this woman does, I don't know how the hell she does it. She should be on the Great British Baking Show. She makes these things called madeleines, which are a mix of dough and I guess shortbread and carrot. Oh my God. These are so good because they're not chewy, they're soft.
They have the hump.
She cooks them right so that they've got the hump.
We learned that. We learned that you need to have that from the Mr. Hollywood, Paul Hollywood. He's like, are your madeleines, do they have the hump?
Do they have scoliosis? So if they have that hump on there.
He's like, look, this one doesn't have it.
What is that? But that's the egg dish without the horn.
I know, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. I want an egg dish with a horn.
Wow, look at this. It's shaped like an egg.
Yeah. That's clever. Somebody did tons of R&D on that.
My phone just began listening.
So we got these madeleines for dessert. And the one thing, and I was actually thrilled about this, because she said, I've had my turkey breast cooking in the crock pot, in the hot pot, for hours.
That thing, look.
Well, they don't have that horn.
None of them have that thing.
I don't know. Maybe she added it.
I don't think she would have added it.
Maybe she figures after people are finished eating, they get horny. They want to sit down on this giant thing and have a ride.
No, you have it.
Oh, well, okay. Anyway, and she said, you know what? I've been cooking for hours, but it's in the slow cook, low temperature hot pot, and the turkey's not done. And I was like, oh, thank you, God. Because I've still got quiche in me. I've still got ice cream and pie in me. I've got the previous food in me. I'm like, oh, it's okay. I'll have a little deviled egg. The mashed potatoes look really good. You got gravy in there, a little stuffing. I'm golden. A little bit of apple sparkling cider water thing. I'm great. And then, just for the hell of it, I check in the crock pot. And of course, the turkey's perfectly ready. It's perfectly right temperature. It cuts beautifully. So I'm like, okay, I think I'll have some turkey. So I'm having turkey, and we're having the egg, and we're having the other stuff that she's made. There's some vegetable stuff, and there was broccoli as well. And we were just like, ah. And then, of course, this being Thanksgiving and me being a complete sybarite, we had purchased the day before. We didn't get to Danny Carvel, excuse me, but this person likes Baskin Robbins. So we got a Baskin Robbins cake. And so I'm on the couch, and we've eaten again an hour after we'd already eaten. And it's like, well, dessert time. Get the Baskin Robbins out of the freezer so it gets 10 minutes to melt. So we pulled that out. And Baskin Robbins is about as good as Carvel. And what's kind of cool is if you get one of their cakes, not only is it Carvel-like in the mix of chocolate and vanilla ice cream, but they've got the chocolate crunchy, which I love, and they have fudge. in the middle of it, which Carvel does not do. Maybe Fudgy the Whale had a little bit, but not your regular Carvel cake. So this had the chocolate, the fudge, the ice cream, the icing, the rosettes. Was very, very nice. And I'm saying, and it's funny, there's always room for ice cream. I could not have another egg. I couldn't have 1 ounce more chicken. I couldn't have another anything. But it's like, slice of ice cream cake. This I can do. So ice cream cake, little hot tea. And I literally almost passed out in a food coma, not literally, almost passed out in a food coma on the couch. I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, watching the Graham Norton show, and just, and thank goodness, actually my wife's out of the room, so I can say there was a moment before the cake, and I think before the turkey, when I just excused myself, and I came out of the bathroom, and I said, okay, I made some room. Because if I hadn't done that, forget it, I would have exploded. But in the middle, I was able to yeah. I can fit a few more ounces in me because some ounces have come out. And I was just worried about really breaking wind the whole time, because I'm still digesting what was coming from before and adding now turkey with tryptophan and milk from the ice cream in it. And I'm thinking, oh God, please don't let me ruin her couch. But it was great. It was fabulous. We had a marvelous time. And so we thank both our friends, Friendy and our friend Tony, for a terrific Thanksgiving afternoon and early evening.
I'm going to look and see where the guy from the Airbnb is from. Is it Cape Verde?
Oh, we want to talk about the
you tell me.
He was Jamaican, right?
No, he was African.
Well, let me tell you, while Joyce is checking a couple of things on her phone.
Yeah, see?
That, okay. This program, Dave's Gone By, is brought to you by the fine folks at Hewlett Minuteman Press, the copy kings of Broadway in Hewlett, Long Island, by the way. So it's Broadway in Hewlett. See, I can show you their old address. They moved a couple of doors down, but they're still in the same strip mall, and it's still in the exact same area, across the street from the giant Petco and near all the banks that they have there. Why do you go to Hewlett Minuteman? Because they can make copies, black and white, color copies, single-sided, double-sided, stapled, bound, laminated, whatever you need for your business, for your company. Hewlett Minuteman Press can help because they're the copy kings. The Toron family has owned and operated this franchise of Minuteman since the 1977, I think, or yeah, that sounds about right. And the family still runs it, and they're great people, and they do high quality work. And if you tell them Dave sent you, you get 10% off any job, big or small, at Hewlett Minuteman. How do you get to them? Give them a call, 516-569-5577. Area code 516-569-5577. They're closed for the holiday weekend, but they'll be open Monday morning, 8:30 to 5:30, 5.5 days a week for all your needs.
They could make a deviled egg tray.
Could they? What they could do is put your logo, your insignia, on a deviled egg tray.
Whoa.
Yeah. It would be an unusual item. It'd be pricey, but they do silk screening on uniforms and on team logo things and flyers and banners. They're Minuteman, and they're cool. So check them out in Hewlett, Long Island. Nobody can take me seriously because I'm wearing the special crab hat, because Dave goes away. I don't have a theme song for Dave goes away. Dave goes away.
Traveling Dave.
Yo ho, yo ho.
Dave.
Like, I'm a traveling Dave. I'm traveling Dave. Nothing rhymes with Dave. I had a rave.
You were knave.
I was quite a knave. I'm Dave's gone traveling. Highways and byways, come on my ways. I'll work on it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't go away that much, so I've never had to do an actual theme song for Dave Goes Away. But Dave went away. That's the reason we didn't have a show last Saturday, because Joyce and I were away.
I thought you were fired.
Well, no, half the English department is fired at UNC, but we won't talk about that. No. So, technically I am. Technically in 2 weeks, I'm not hired back for this. I won't be here.
Talk about your Dave's gone traveling.
Well, you brought it up. But yes, Dave's gone away. Dave's gone traveling. So why did we go to Boston in the first place?
Conference. So I'm presenting at a conference that's in a strike hotel, and then some of the gerontologists would cross the line, but many people wouldn't. So we moved to an Airbnb, and we signed, of course, an electronic petition saying if you fight for cumulative advantage, disadvantage, inequalities across the life course, all sorts of stuff, we can't, right? We can't cross the strike line.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal.
Yeah.
There's this association, GSA, is a very big gerontology organization. Okay, so and gerontology is the study of old people. In fact, you don't even want to use the word gerontology anymore. Now it's aging because nobody knows what gerontology is. And kids don't want to take it. Oh no, my eyes are crossing.
Okay, keep going.
And by the way, we got a little message from Renee, who seems to know our upcoming guest, Thomas G. Waits. And she says, tell my Thomas I love him. Well, if you know him that well, you tell him you love him. She sent up little hearts and everything. Yeah, oh, my goodness. Ooh. I do believe he's single, so, yeah.
This is not dating, speed dating.
All right, anyway, but, well, thank you, Renee, and we will convey your affection for our guest, who will be talking to Rabbi Saul Solomon shortly. But GSA holds a conference every year. And, you know, if you're going to hold a conference in the middle of November, right, where are you going to put it? You're going to put it in New Orleans, in Florida, Sacramento, California. No, you fucking put it in Boston, where it's going to be, you know, the weather's going to suck.
And people are always striking.
In the middle of November, right? Well, it's better than Paris right now.
Yeah, I know. Paris is always on strike.
Yeah. So, Renee says, he and I have met. Oh, we're going to, hey. So this conference, which has had months to plan, this organization, GSA, has had months to plan a conference. Where do they choose? They choose Boston, like middle of the Northeast, where you know weather's going to suck already, but okay, we deal with it. You don't stop having conferences in New York just because it's December and January. It's New York, and Boston is a major city. So they have it, but they also know weeks beforehand that one of the hotels that the conference is using is on strike. I didn't realize that Marriott owned so many
Sheraton,
hotels.
Four Seasons, right?
Four Seasons.
Yeah.
Who knew that the Marriott, which Marriott's a nice hotel, and we would stay.
Yeah.
Last few times that we've traveled, we always stay in the Marriott because they get a suite.
Yeah.
It's reasonably priced generally, and then we have a nice time. And Marriotts are good.
And there's nobody banging buckets outside.
Yeah. Well, that you can't control really, but Marriott's. But who knew that they own this, they own that?
Sure,
everything is owned by Hilton. Fucking Marriott owns. And meanwhile, Marriott. Some of their workers, their cleaners, is it just the cleaning staff?
No, the bartenders, everyone went out, yeah.
And they've been complaining and negotiating, bargaining, and then they came to loggerheads, not just in Boston, but all in hotels all over the country, and went on strike.
Yeah.
And they went on strike about 6 weeks before the conference. So the conference had time. I mean, this throws a wrench into people's plans. But they had time, if not to switch locations or cities,
but to move the sessions to the conference
because
center,
they had most of their stuff in the convention center, which is not on strike, which has nothing to do with Marriott.
The Sheraton was the main place, but we didn't go in it.
So, but the Sheraton was a problem. So how about moving a bunch of your
Well, what people did was after signing the petition, a lot of people, I presented in a non-strike area, conference center. But the striking people in the striking centers, they went to like a interfaith network, and they provided churches and other spaces where they had spaces to present. But the sad part was that was the individuals, it wasn't the conference. So you had to then email people who wanted to go to your session to move, and even the presenters had to find. And people canceled their presentations left and right.
And judging by the attendance in some of the rooms you walked past, you have 4 people sitting there watching your presentation. You could do it in the local Starbucks.
And but normally those rooms are a little more full, so you have more people on the panels than in the audience.
So, but they didn't do that. I mean, they sent out a letter of support to some extent.
It was like lukewarm, like, oh, we support the strike, but you don't. So it's like, I think that it's the problem with academia and like large corporations, right? They're getting like $400 or $500 a person to run this conference. So they're getting, it's not like it's free. So we're paying a lot of money, and they wouldn't refund people who didn't go, or I don't know if they did, but we signed for that. You don't treat people like that. But they're a biomedical conference, so all the people who don't care about strikes or have lots of money would go no matter what. I mean, that's the.
Yeah. So we're booked to go to this conference, right? So we're there. Joyce is she didn't present, but you have a poster there, right? And so
I'm there because when the empire falls, I need to salvage my life.
No kidding. You're also to meet people and to talk to people and to get us both the hell out of this university, right? So we book, and I booked via Priceline because I'm trying to save every possible penny, and they made a nice deal for us. The X Hotel and these flights.
Use Priceline.
Well, here's the deal. When we realize that the strike is not going to be settled, we're up against it because Joyce is more left than I am. I lean slightly left. She's pretty far left, and we're both pro-union.
I would never cross the line.
Right. Well, we almost think about it. Yeah. Think about it. What would we have done? Because what Priceline said was, at a certain point, we're like, you know what? We're not. The hotel that we were going to stay in was one of the Marriott hotels that was on strike.
It's a Sheraton.
And when we realized that wasn't going to be settled about 2.5, 3 weeks before, we went scrambling. And of course, it's Boston with all these conferences going on.
And there's like an audiology conference. A lot of my friends were there for their conference.
So if you want to find another hotel in the area, those are they're either booked for the slate of days that the conference is going on, or you pay $450 a night, plus tax and plus whatever, which I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
And so we're thinking, what the hell? What can we possibly do? And I called Priceline. We figured, you know what? We're not even going to go. Screw this. Let's cancel everything.
Yeah.
We'll plead, not poverty, but we're going to plead like, hey, we don't want to cross a picket line.
Yeah.
This conference is partially strike-ridden, and our hotel is strike-ridden.
Yeah.
And what does Priceline say? Priceline is like, well, first of all, no.
Priceline said like this. We are Priceline. We don't care about the client. We just want money.
Basically, yeah. I mean, now granted, on the tickets we booked, both airline, it was non-refundable, which they mean. It's non-refundable, but there are circumstances, and then there are other circumstances. And the circumstances were first of all, we didn't want to deal with a stricken hotel and pay $1 million for a non-stricken. We're not football. Now, this pisses me off.
Oh, I got mad too. The football
the
teams,
Yankees when they were playing in this area.
They could afford to rent a whole house on an Airbnb.
Yeah. So these teams that were playing in Boston,
Marriott is their sponsor.
Whatever. These teams could have their own very strong unions, the players' unions.
They could have gone anywhere.
Right. They could have booked. Well, the Four Seasons are the most expensive hotels.
But they could have went anywhere.
Anywhere. W or some other hotel. Yeah. But no, these players who make $1.5 million a year.
Shame on them.
Go into these fucking hotels that are on strike.
But then God forbid if they had a union compromise with the players, they would all freak out. It's like, I hate people who have these kind of ethical quandaries or ethics that are so flimsy. It's like.
Well, no, you're looking at someone whose ethics are flimsy, because if Priceline had not refunded a penny.
You could have challenged it.
How? Take it to the Supreme Court?
No,
right-wing Supreme Court?
You stop the payment on the credit card and you say that.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I would have done.
I didn't think about that. I would have done that. That's probably already went through.
Yeah, but I would have challenged it and said that they were,
So what Priceline did, and also they have to work in tandem with the hotel and the air.
I don't believe that one bit.
I
don't believe that one bit. It's like saying like, oh, let me talk to my boss or something. It's just a crap. It's just crap.
Well, one sent me to the other. So when I called Priceline, they'd send me to the hotel. The hotel would say, well, no, it's Priceline. So the back and forth. What Priceline eventually did was they said, okay, we'll refund the hotel money except for one night. So we were booked for like 4 nights, I think, or for maybe 4 nights. And they said, we'll give you back partial, but because whatever. And this was not like 24 hours beforehand. This is about 5 days before we were coming to Boston.
I think it was like 2 days.
No. It was like 3-4 days before this happened. And so I wasn't like giving them immediate notice, like, hey, you've got a hotel room that we're not going to go to and we want our money back. I gave them about 90 hours to rebook and do what they pleased, right?
Yeah.
And they said, well, we'll give you back most of your money, but not the first night. We're going to make you pay for one night in a hotel, which was $220.
It's obscene.
So that was if you ever wonder our commitment to causes and such, That was it. We said goodbye to like $200. And the funny part was, I asked the woman that I was talking to, and I said, okay, well, you're going to charge us for the night. I guess we'll stay the night.
Yeah.
And we'll just bail on the other 3 nights and go somewhere else. And I said, no, it doesn't work like that. This is just this is a penalty fee that you have to pay for canceling the whole thing. And that's what Priceline did. And in terms of the flights, because we wanted to cancel the whole trip, they were like, no. Not at all. Non-cancelable, non-refundable. Fuck you. Yeah.
Well, because it's like when you live in a society that is based on money, they're not going to take it. I will never use Priceline again.
No, shit, no.
I will never use Priceline.
Now, I don't know if Orbitz and Travelocity are so different in their policies.
It's like I teach the students when you write a grant, don't use a cheap like Chop Shop for tickets. We go to the airlines and just get a deal. Yeah,
should have done that. I mean, it would have been more expensive in the short run.
But it would have been better. Like one time on JetBlue, I took the cancellation policy and I had to change a flight and it was great. So sometimes going to the,
No, definitely going to the airlines is more helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, when I flew JetBlue back from New York, and I said, well, look, I'm not going to get in back to Greeley or Denver in time to make a shuttle. We'll talk about that to Greeley. And I'm still in Queens. Let me stay another day, and maybe the flight tomorrow won't be delayed. And they were like, okay, well, we'll just put you on the same flight tomorrow. Yeah. I was like, thank you. Simple, it took me 10 minutes on the telephone, standing in the termineral at Penn Station.
Customer service.
Or Jamaica Station, I should say.
Customer service. Yeah. Like, that's dead. The way of treating a customer, it's like I told you, Mommy always said, being on an airplane is like taking a bus, putting wings on it, and going in the air.
It's a crosstown bus.
Like tell them about the kid who made that.
Oh, that's coming back. Like we have so much. We're going to just spend the whole show there. Renee keeps asking, where's Thomas G. Waits? He's coming. It will be about an hour from now because we will be talking to Rabbi Saul Solomon on the program, Dave's Gone By. So yes, Thomas G. Waits is coming. He's not here yet. And we've also got Greeley Crimes and Old Times, and we have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned coming up, and our secondary segue of songs in the news. So it's going to be and more StoryTime featuring the Color Atlas of Intestinal Parasites Part 2. Yeah. So it's going to be an amazing show. Hang with us, Renee, if you've never been with us before. And hang us with all these other cool people, and Tony, and the other people who joined. Who else have joined here? I can really do a lot of shout-outs. And Fred, and Sam, and Steven, and Trevor. And there's a bunch of other people. I just can't see who they are. But definitely give shout-outs and say hi. But the whole issue, and I've spent fucking hours of my life on this, coordinating between not being able to cancel, having to cancel the hotel, and then finding another place to stay in Boston. So we try Airbnb.
For the first time.
God bless it. Yes, for the first time. And we're seeing some places, and we don't know, and this is near town, and this is not near town, and this is a shared bath, and this is a this and that.
We don't know the difference.
Yeah.
My friend just said, look for a super host. That's the only advice we got, super host.
Someone who's done it enough and gotten enough good reviews that you're not getting into a bad situation, right? So I find a place that seems, forget being in Back Bay or downtown Boston. Because
we were in Dorchester.
Yeah, Dorchester near Roxbury.
Yeah.
So 5-ish, Finkel-ish miles away from where we needed to be, which you figure is not going to be that long, but Boston is very trafficy.
Oh my God.
So it's a distance. It's a ways away. But, makeable by Uber. We never actually tried mass transit. And we get there in a very African-American, Dominican neighborhood. I mean, you can say it's Dorchester, which it is, but it's 3 blocks from Roxbury, which Randy Newman name checks on the song Rednecks as a ghetto. So I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah, not realizing this when I booked the room. But the neighborhood is nice.
Yes.
There's a beautiful library 2 blocks from where we're staying. Yeah. And we get to this Airbnb, which, by the way, instead of $450 a night at a hotel near the conference center, the Heinz Center in Boston, because it's kind of far away, because you're sharing a bathroom, because it's small.
People are probably racist, they don't go.
Yeah, $40 a night.
Plus cleaning fee at the end, right? There's always cleaning.
Oh, there's a cleaning fee. Right?
Yeah,
okay,
$60.
Fine. Yeah, but I mean, $40 a night for 4 nights.
I know.
Plus a little fee. Well, $60 is not cheap, but a fee.
In a hotel, you pay more than that in taxes.
Clean.
Yes, well stocked with tea and coffee.
Pleasant. Oh, a Keurig, marvelous Keurig,
Yes.
and a lovely kitchen. Right. We didn't have a TV in our room, but there was a TV in the room. There's like a common living space. Lovely.
We met a lot.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Adolfo.
And the thing is, you have roommates, so it's not you're not just taking a place that's owned by someone
it's like
else somewhere
suite mates,
else.
though, rather than roommates. They're not in the same room.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, they're not in the
yeah.
same room.
They have their own bedroom, their own place to. It's one room, and then a common bathroom, a common living area. So yeah, you're not paying what you would for your own like apartment, as it were. But even so, for a place to crash, clean, safe, nice, and really nice. So you met him. I never met the man.
Yes. I guess Enrico, they pronounce his name different, Erico, but he's from Cape Verde, which is near Senegal, I guess. It's if you look like Spain and Portugal, it's like an island that's like near Africa, and then near because they speak Portuguese, or they speak a Creole Portuguese language.
Yeah.
Because he could speak to the Brazilian couple that we met who were on fellowship.
Oh, they were great.
They were studying in the U.S. They were awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. We walk in there, we don't want to deal with because we're traveling, and I'm in my 50s. She's 49.
But it's sharing a bathroom, so we had to share the bathroom, and of course I go all the time. So I'm waiting, and Bruno was in the bathroom when she came out. We met and talked.
Oh yeah, I mean it was just, but meeting our neighbors, in the room across the hall, suite mates, yeah, and they turned out to be graduate students. Well, she was an undergrad going towards grad. He was grad.
He was an undergrad. She was a grad.
And just these lovely, smart, fun people, and that helped make the trip too.
Oh yeah.
Because there's we've got those noisy, crappy neighbors again. No, it's like
they were so lovely,
and we shared food, and
there were two girls that liked to the young girls who brushed their teeth in this kitchen sink. That was a little skeevy.
Yeah, I didn't even really meet. I waved at them.
Yeah,
they're kind of cute. If they're up for a foursome.
No, they were not. They're like every young girl, straight hair, black leggings, not really unique. Nothing.
I wear black leggings.
No, you're talking about your man spanks.
Oh, there's so much to talk about. So let's talk. We haven't even really talked about the actual trip.
Well, we went to the Tridents.
Yeah. Well, let's take it day by day, or else we're just going to get sort of lost in this. But so we get to Boston, and on a United flight, we haven't talked about the United Airlines. The joy of that.
Oh yeah.
Fucking United Airlines, ladies and gentlemen.
They did nice at the end with you.
They did. So I'll tell that story.
Let me look up and see how the complaints by United while you talk.
So we're getting there. We have one flight that's United, and another flight coming back that's JetBlue. And United is just all the airlines suck. They all suck now. They're all buses in the air. United sucks a little more than the others, right? At least at the moment. For a while, Delta was the worst. Now I wonder about United. We get towards United.
I used to like Delta Song, which was like JetBlue. It was a fun airline, and they got rid of it. It was so fun.
Lufthansa used to be. I don't know. Maybe Lufthansa is still nice.
We did not HLM. What's the one we did?
KLM.
Oh,
KLM is
They
nice.
gave Natalie duck, I think lamb. She was in first class. I was in.
They gave her a live duck and told her to butcher it.
No, they gave me ice because they gave me meat and I'm vegetarian. Then they ran out with pastries and ice. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm not three.
This is already a few years ago, though. Who knows?
Yeah. No, they were good.
But United, meh. And we're getting there. We get to the airport.
Oh,
and of course,
at their reviews.
Well, yeah, they kind of suck.
Whoa.
We get to the airport. And we're not checking luggage. We don't want to check luggage. We pack light. It's a 4-day trip.
Again.
Yeah.
Backward airline.
But everybody says that. They always say, I'm never taking that fucking airline again. And then months go by and they realize, hey, there's a cheap fare. I guess I'll take that airline. It's not like you have a zillion choices to go domestic. It's not like there's 25 different airlines.
Very hostile, it says.
Yeah. So we're standing there, and I've got my knapsack. She's got her knapsack. We've got these two little bags for our clothing and things. Stuff that can easily go under the seat.
300 pages of reviews that gave them 3.
Yeah, 3. Three's not bad. Two's all right. We have and one can go easily in the overhead. You can stuff both my bags under the seat in front of me, right? No problem at all. But no, as we're checking, because God forbid, United won't let you check in online and print a boarding pass at home.
Weird. Why is that?
Because they want you to get to the airport And then they're going to check you in, and then they'll give you your seat, because it's a fucking crosstown bus.
Don't curse like that. Stop cursing.
I'm just saying.
Save your energy.
So, but this guy is there to help people check in, which is cool.
Yeah.
You know, so we're checking and help people get their boarding passes and work their stupid little machines. I was like, well, you know, you got to check those. I'm like, what are we talking about? They're tiny little bags. We got our knapsacks. This is our little carry. I was like, no, right policy.
No, but you had a meltdown too.
Of course I had a meltdown. Because it wasn't just like, we're going to check your bags. We're going to charge you $30 a bag to check it.
Yeah.
And then if I had been in my right frame of mind, I also said, because I could have stuffed my bag into yours, and at least that would have been one charge instead of two.
Yeah.
But we're just standing there. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? You want me to watch my language? I did not. Yeah. And I'm telling this guy.
And the whole trip, I'm like, don't freak out, don't yell, and don't be insane.
Well, not on the airplane.
You lost it immediately.
Of course I lost it immediately, because this guy's charging us $60.
That's why I never take you to a conference.
Well,
you lose your nut.
Well, how would you feel if you get to the airport?
I would pay it, and then I would go, and then I would, every time that happened, you just go to United and you say, look, this is a ripoff.
But what a hassle. Yeah. What a hassle. And they would have said, what a ripoff. Yeah, but non-refundable. This is our flight policy. No, just one carry-on item.
No. It wasn't everybody. It was just our seats. But Priceline never said that when we did it with Priceline, so it was their fault. Yeah.
So, but okay. We just want to get on the goddamn plane, right? We just want to go.
So you could just open your mouth, drool, and sleep the whole flight.
So we take the bags, and as a matter of fact, I was so discombobulated that we signed the fucking thing. We paid for the thing.
I paid.
We go to the
gate
place for the bags to the, and I'm literally I'm walking with two bags again. I'm actually bringing my bag with me, and I'm like, oh shit, I got to bring this back to have it put on the conveyor. So we bring it back. We take the flight. Flight's okay. United does not have TVs in the seats.
No.
Has no music, like to put in a headphone or anything. It's just
a bus in the air. Yeah.
Right. Nothing. No. They have one choice of snack, which are cookies, which were delicious.
Yes.
They have these maple cookies on United. Those are very good. I've got to say that.
You should have asked for cookies.
Yeah. And the flight was safe. It was fine. Not terribly uncomfortable considering flight seats and all that. And when we make it there safe and sound, I mean, which is 99% the most important thing, obviously, in flying.
Bus in the air.
We come down and we wait for our bags, and it only takes about 3 minutes to get our bags. It's not, the carousel's right there. Fantastic. You grab your bag, I grab my bag, and it's soaking wet.
Yes.
I mean, because it's raining when we get to Boston. It's like a nor'easter weather.
And the Boston people are not that, at least the check-in lady was not that friendly. So I went over and she said, well, what do you expect? It's raining? And I looked at her and I said, we're at a conference. And I used my professor voice and I said, dead in the eye, and I said, this is completely and utterly unacceptable. What are you going to do about it? And she looked at me and I said, put your hand in the bag and feel it. Everything's soaked. Yeah. And she said, do you have electronics in it? And then she did some clicking on her machine and I said, email me this receipt. Email me this. I want this claim in my email.
Yeah.
You know?
Because I'm glad you did that. Because I came off, as soon as I felt my bag, because I was, great, I got my bag. I feel it was wet on top. I open it, I zip it open, and my underwear and my shirts are soaking wet, which means they were on either they were on the tarmac, or the asshole who was helping us check in said, "Oh, which I doubt."
I don't. I
mean, hey, let's run that under a hose.
I think my bag didn't get wet because it was Edie Bauer. It was more like for travel. Yours was like a $5 bag. It was a cheap bag.
A $5 bag that, by the way, I have traveled with for more than 10 years. I kid you not. It's the lightest bag I have. It's unstructured. It's easy to carry, easy to sling. Yes. I got it from my father's friend Tony. Way back when, in the place he used to work, that bag has been wonderful. Except this time, it is not waterproof.
No.
It didn't occur to me to put the stuff in the bag in plastic, because I would figure, hey, it's with me on the plane. I put it under the seat, as I always do. And instead, now it comes out and everything in it. No, I would say the top layer of clothing, so it wasn't soaked underneath. So it was sat in the fucking rain for probably 10, 20 minutes.
Give the end of the story.
So she goes and she gets the information. She gives him and the email information to get, and then the woman says, okay, we'll give you the money back for checking these bags, right? And we'll also give us the receipts if you have the clothes cleaned, and we'll pay for the dry clean. We'll pay for cleaning that. So you dealt with it because I would probably been arrested.
Yeah.
I would have just come at her,
No,
and then she would have been in her attitude. I would have taken a swing at her.
Yeah, well, Boston's also very rough. I find it a rough city.
Yeah.
So very rough. They were rough.
So, but fast forward a few days later, a week later, we're back home.
I could do it on this week.
And we're trying to deal with the website and get our stuff back and see how that's going. Yeah. Yeah. So fast forward, and we're trying to figure out how to work the website of like how to get our receipts back and what to do. And finally I said, what the hell is, I'm calling them.
Yeah.
So I call United Customer Service and, not complaints, but the resolution stuff. And she said, yeah, we had all your information on file, and we're sorry about that. And did you have clothes cleaned? And I was honest with her. I said, honestly, it was a couple of shirts, wash and wear, underwear. We hung them up, they dried out, and then I put them in the wash when we got home. They're fine. And she said, well, we're really sorry for the inconvenience, and we're going to give you both a couple of travel vouchers, in addition to the refunding the money to have the bags checked in the first place. So I haven't gotten them yet. I'm hoping they're going to come through on that. But I'm like, suddenly I went from being enraged and like, oh, God, I don't want to deal with this anymore. The trip is over, and I'm still dealing with this financial crap and the idiocy that you guys pulled. And then I went from that to being like, oh, thank you. Thank you. That's unexpected. Thank you very much. That's customer service.
Talk about the way home with our trip home.
Oh, and okay, we can talk about that too.
All throughout Boston.
Yeah, let's get. And by the way, oh my God, it's almost 10 o'clock. We haven't gotten to anything except this Boston stuff yet.
Let's say Greeley crimes in old times then.
Well, because a week from now we'll forget Boston. It won't be fresh anymore.
No, I said let's save Greeley crimes
save
in old times. Yeah, for next time. Let's do Boston.
Okay, so
we go to the Trident after we get in.
Well, tell what the Trident is.
You say it.
Okay. So we don't know where to go because we're going to try and stay mostly in the same area for the trip because Joyce has her conference in the Heinz Convention Center over on Boylston Street, which is this major hub in Boston. And right around the block is a parallel street called Newbury, which has a lot of restaurants, a lot of shops,
That's
a lot
where
of
you
stuff.
bought your Chagall.
Yes. Yeah, right.
And ate your frog.
So no, the frog was not on Newbury.
Okay.
But Newbury Street. So we go walking because first we get there.
It's our nature. We always want to walk around.
Yeah, because what happened was when we first came into Boston, we didn't go right to our Airbnb. We had our bags and we wanted to go to the conference first.
We took the train,
Right. Took the train, which was kind of a pain in the ass to navigate, but we got to Boston.
I think because we were just a little jet lagged. We went around a little bit extra. We're like, whoa,
Well, also waiting for the bus from from the airport, from Logan Airport, to get to first the train system.
Well, we just didn't know how to. Now we know. Next time we know.
Well, we get there and we go tromping around a little bit on Boylston, and then we hit Newbury. And we're like, well, what are we going to do? Oh, there's a bookstore. And
that's before like the weekend when you couldn't even get a seat. It's like a 50-minute wait. Yeah.
So we this was Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there's a lovely, it's part bookstore, part cafe. And a lot of bookstores have coffee and a little Danish. But this had an actual restaurant
diner
called the Trident Diner or restaurant on Newbury Street, Trident Bookstore.
It was lovely.
Very nice. I mean, it was the perfect, because we were miserable and the weather was crappy. And flying and all that.
We had all our bags and it was just a lot.
I was just like, oh God, I don't want to be in Boston right. I just want to be
at home. Did you have pastrami or brisket?
I had
brisket
with sweet potato brisket hash, which I haven't had in months because they stopped selling it or serving it at the restaurant we used to have it in Greeley, and that turned the corner a little bit. Going to this place.
Well, we ate food. We calmed down. We had a tea. We got to like chillax.
Right. We got to look at the Heinz Center and where your stuff would be.
Oh, that was great too. Thank you.
And then we went to the Airbnb and then had a very nice night.
Okay, I'm trying to
that's about what we did that. I got to bed early.
Oh yeah.
Just to get the day over with. And then the miserable weather. Yeah. And then the next day, you already had to start going to your conference. And what do we do? Because we hung a bit that day. What do we do on Wednesday?
I don't remember.
I have notes.
I know we went to the bagel place, but that was at the end.
Yeah.
We didn't go to the Thai place. We went to South Asian place.
Was that the day that I was kind of on my own, or was that Thursday, I think?
No, I think Wednesday we had a lot of...
Anyway, we went back to the Trident the second time.
Mm-hmm. We didn't eat there. The second day we didn't eat there. We ate there once.
No, because I had a burger one.
Yeah. Okay, we did, yeah.
Wow, it's all evaporating.
You did the galleries? No?
I did the gallery. I went for a long walk, and I went to a bunch of galleries on the break.
I didn't have the poster, but I was meeting all sorts of people.
Yeah,
doing all sorts of
so we were running around the convention center. And I was that was the day I just had to kill like hours around Boylston and Newbury. So I went to gallery after gallery after gallery.
Do you have the card where it says the card?
I have it at home. But, I saw some really cool stuff.
I'll show you. Which print do you know what it was?
It was one of these Chagall drawings. But I went into this place, and some galleries, they know that you're just a looky-loo. They know that you're in there, and you're going to look around, and you're not a millionaire or a tens of thousandaire, and you're really not going to be buying a late model Warhol or something. You're just there. And it's like going to a free museum.
You can buy a print for $44.
Well, that's a print, yeah.
Which one did it look like? Was it a colorful one?
They had green. There were two that were for sale. It was a very green one. You probably go to the gallery. I don't necessarily want to mention the name of it.
Just
I think it's La Voile, maybe, gallery. One of those in Boston. Or I may be confusing. It was something like that. This is nicer. This is not the Chagall print. But sometimes you go into galleries and they really want to hook you in.
They're very solicitous.
Yeah. Even if you're a lower middle class schlub like me, they see potential.
They're working you.
Because 90% of the people on the street are just going to pass the gallery by on their way to Starbucks, on the way to TJ Maxx. But the one person who might come into a gallery, it's sort of like cocaine. It's like, well, we can fix you with something surprisingly affordable.
Yes.
And then as you make more money, as you go along, you'll step up your game.
Yes.
So, I walk in, I start looking at
American
promos.
Greed, though. We can be careful. Some of those are
I know. That's one of the other reasons. Because I don't need to pay. This woman said, hey, look. Here's a Chagall signed print, not a painting, but it's a Chagall print for $2,500.
You got to
and my mind goes, wow.
But you could be Mark Chagall, her cousin.
Yeah.
You got to authenticate it.
Right. So, one assumes, one hopes that they can. And if I really loved it.
You had a quote unquote friend who used to fake authentication. So.
To an extent.
Yes.
All right.
So we know.
Well, yeah, but with modern...
Only love is real. I could authenticate anything.
Right.
Your crab hat is a...
no, this is an authentic crab.
It's a Liechtenstein.
It's made from real crab.
It's Liechtenstein.
But, yeah.
It's a Pollock, not a Pollock.
That's right. It's a Van Gogh.
Yeah, that's right. How'd you know? Your one eye's getting lazy, honey. Come here.
It's a Picasso.
I don't know how long these pipe cleaners are going to hold.
Yeah. It's a Rembrandt. But let me give them the benefit of the doubt and say that these were actual real signed prints of Chagall. And there's one that was ugly and one that was kind of okay.
Yeah.
Right. And she's like, hey, and she's on me. I can't walk through the gallery. So she's asking me, which do you like? And I said, well, of all the things, Chagall probably appeals the most to me.
Oh, you just put the nail in the coffin. Woo, she's got the...
Because I just, I'll make a little small talk. And literally, she's like, oh, it's inexpensive.
You're supposed to say, I'm colorblind and I can't tell the difference. What do they look like? Can you describe each one?
Right. And there's like a Sargent thing there for $44,000. No, not going for that. And literally, as I'm trying to leave, she is like, you should treat yourself. She said, asked me a card. One day I'll treat myself to a Chagall. I'm like,
and it was beautiful handwriting too. She had very good penmanship. I think I would buy it just for that.
Yeah. And it called back though, when I was working it was either Playbill or Playboy.
Yeah.
I went to a gallery in New York.
Yeah.
And they had, I think it was an actual painting as opposed to a print, but something by Botero.
Oh, I like Botero.
Before he was really known. And I could have afforded it. And I was in there and I was looking at it and they were talking about it. And, I could have done it. And I was just like, well, no, I'm Jewish. I'm going to save my money And God knows that thing would probably pay for our house.
That's
now.
okay. I'm happy. We are okay. We don't need it.
Well, no, we
Did
need it.
that drive you to eating the frog legs?
Well, no, because I wanted to eat in Boston, and Boston is a foodish kind of city.
Seafood.
Well, I see food and I eat it. And I was looking for places, and I'm just walking around again in somewhat cruddy weather, and still killing time in the middle of the city before going back to the Airbnb. And I'm looking for places, and there's ethnic places, and I love ethnic restaurants. And so I passed one after the other, and then I even though I was in Chinatown later on, I found a Chinese restaurant nearer to where we were staying that had just everything on the menu. What? Oh, the rim shot. I should have brought the menu, man.
Here.
I should have brought it because
in case you need it.
I go in there, and it's like this real serious Chinese restaurant. And I'm starting to look through the menu.
Was there like blood sausage?
This is the beautiful thing, because they have all the usual Chinese things. Yeah. But also, if you look deep in the menu, which I always do, they had pork intestine with blood and spice.
Yum.
This is on the menu.
Yummy.
And then my very, very favorite thing of all was, and they literally called it like this on the menu, stinky tofu with blood sausage. And you can check this for yourselves. If you go to the website of Dumpling Palace, I think either Dumpling Palace or Golden Dumpling, something.
Do you notice it's interesting when you say it, there was more of an international presence at the conference?
You saw more.
Yeah, and I wonder if it's because people didn't know about the strike.
Oh, maybe, and then the Americans stay home.
Yeah.
But so I go into this Chinese place, and one thing that I don't get to eat almost ever, I will back in New York, if you go to Thai places, some of them will have frog's legs, which are delicious. But this restaurant had frog, and it had something else too. It had duck, which they were out of, or that's the place we went. That was an Indian place. But in the Chinese place, I'm like, they had 3 different kinds of frogs, including one that they listed on the menu, and I swear to you, the title of it was "Tons of Spices on Frog." It's like I got a Monty Python skit.
Yummy. And you ordered it?
No, because I asked the waiter, so should I get tons of spices on frog? And they had salt and pepper frog. And then they had another frog.
Salt and pepper frog's probably more.
Salt and pepper I've had before. And salt and pepper, when they do that on chicken, it's really good. Because it's breaded and salted. And it's, no. So, and they're surprised because this guilo, this white person comes in to order something. Because everybody else orders, they order what they order in a Chinese restaurant. But I'm ordering like, a frog.
Of course.
And they bring it out. And it is really tasty, but unlike frog's legs, which are very edible like chicken wings, even though it doesn't really taste like chicken.
Okay.
But it's breaded and you eat it and it's nummy. This is like little hacked up bits of frog, breaded and coated, but you can't really enjoy eating it.
You should have asked which didn't have frog bone.
Yeah, because the bones are so tiny and the pieces are so
Maybe
little.
You're supposed to eat it.
No, you can't crunch through that.
Oh, no.
It'll pierce your palate.
Oh.
It's horrible. No, so as tasty as it was kind of a mistake. Yeah.
It sounds delicious.
Yeah, real raw, unboned, real dead frog.
Oh my God.
Crunchy frog. So I had that. Tasty as it was a real pain in the balls to eat that. But I'm glad I ate that. If I go back to Boston, I'll go back to that restaurant for something else because they had the real deal. And I did not get the stinky tofu or the putrefied egg or the blood with the blood sausage and the blood sauce and the intestine. I mean, this is what they had. That's on the menu.
People like it, right?
Yeah, pork intestine with blood sauce.
I've eaten the putrefied egg.
Oh, I've had that.
I had a friend from China, and it was a delicacy, so I've eaten that.
Why? Why would that?
Because it's just everybody. Like, why would somebody eat whitefish and like a cake with gelatinous gel?
Well, you scrape off the gel. The whitefish it's gefilte fish is delicious. Gefilte fish with horseradish
and frog's legs. What else? Go continue. What else?
So what else? And that's I think what I did that day. Did the gallery hopping thing. Oh, I went to the genealogical.
Gallery hopping.
Froggy hopping. Yeah.
I'm a hop.
And this ties into you're going into or getting back the 23andMe test.
Oh, yeah.
Because I went to the genealogical Genealogical Society in Boston, just to walk around, just a free place to go into and to look around. You couldn't get into a lot of the main stuff, but they let you walk around and look at some paintings and look at some posters and things. And of course, there's a Jewish section, which is kind of neat. They had somebody's tallis bag and.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, I understand what the purpose of the Genealogical Society
to
is.
Encourage people to use that society to look up their roots.
Yeah, which is, I guess, they're going to be redundant at some point between the Mormons and Ancestry.com and 23andMe and all these places. Who needs to go with the Genealogical Society? It's like
but it'll just tell you where you're from. It won't tell you the names of your ancestors, or it won't give you that rich oral history part that you could probably.
So let's take a little bit of a break from talking about Boston to talk about your results, because you sent in your spit to the 23andMe people to the thing. I haven't done this yet. I'm going to.
I'm looking for my results while you talk.
Joyce always assumed that she was Austrian Tyrolean. Tyrolean being the northern part of
mountains. So I am mountain people.
But is it northern Austria or northern Italy is Tyrol?
Tyrol is in, I believe Austria, but I don't know where I'm from anymore. So.
Well, what did 23andMe tell you about you? And save the best part for last, because I want to talk about that.
I got to sign in.
Oh, you're literally going to look at it.
Yeah, I'm going to sign in.
Okay, yeah. While she does that, let me remind you that you're watching the Dave's Gone By Facebook program of the stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable wife, Joyce, whom you can't see right over here. It is 10:07 in the morning Mountain Time here at the University of Northern Colorado in Greeley, Colorado. Oh, thank you for the hearts. I don't know if they're doing that for me or for 23andMe. This is our 674th episode of the show, just FYI.
My Neanderthal.
We're calling it Waits, Don't Tell Me, in honor of our upcoming guest, Thomas G. Waits, who will be talking with Rabbi Sol Solomon all about the movies that Waits was in, like And Justice for All with Al Pacino.
Here we go.
Speaking of Pacino, he was in American Buffalo off-Broadway. Waits was in The Wanderers, The Warriors. That's coming up. Now, here's Joyce's 23andMe profile. Well, before you did this, what did you think you were?
So my mother always says we're Austrian. Maybe at the time when the Germans were there, it was Austria.
Yeah.
And then my dad is probably German and maybe Russian, or Pop was Polish, so we're not sure. Yeah. So we thought like Eastern European and then Austrian.
Like me, I know that I'm Russia, Polish. I thought I was Hungarian because my jokes are from Hungary. But but there you go. So that's what you thought you were.
Yes. You
are apparently 33%. Yep. German and French.
That's the haploid group. So it probably, and then I talked to somebody at the conference and he said probably all the mountain people. Yeah. So French Alps, Austrian Alps, German Alps, a lot of intern dancing.
What is a haploid?
Haploid, don't ask.
Okay. I have a hemorrhoid. No, I know. Anyway, you're 20% Eastern European.
Yeah, da.
Well, that's German again. Well, what can they say?
Russian,
Oh, it doesn't say Russian, though. It says Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes owned by Russia, but we're talking more like Romania.
Polish.
Poland.
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 Yeah, Poland.
What else is in Eastern Europe?
We have to ask Stephen.
Yeah. Czech. Maybe a little bit of there. Because I could see you being Czech.
That's what Richard Shore always told me. Richard, you were right.
Well, first I'd like to check. Okay, you're also 13% Italian.
Of course,
and you can't cook. Ow, 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 ow. Just kidding. You can cook, you just don't cook. But yeah.
I make pasta all the time.
That's right. That's the one thing that, besides salad, that's the one thing you make. You make it well.
I would also make polenta, but not.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yes.
So you're 13% Italian. That's more than 10%. That's pretty good. You're 4% Balkan.
Yes.
Which I'm not sure how that's different from Eastern Europe, but I guess it's different.
Different group.
3.5 British Irish.
Oh, yes. My name is Joyce.
And then just more broadly, like Northwestern Europe, Southern Europe.
Yeah.
So you have more overall Europe in you than Italians.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
About as much, actually, it's like 25% of that.
Yeah.
And then, behold, 1.9%. 1.9% Ashkenazic Jewish. Go figure. So you went through all that trouble
I
converting
know, such
when
a
we got
waste,
married,
yeah.
and you had some
it shows
Jew in
the
you.
pictures. These are the pictures.
Oh,
over
yeah.
here. It would show me.
Well, there's Italy. We can see the boot.
I want to see Balkan.
Yeah, where's the Balkans?
It says Mediterranean, early Mediterranean and Slavic.
No, that's half of Eastern Europe. It's a giant blob.
I know. That's why I need to do the other one.
Yeah, because I mean, they give you such broad things. I mean, you can get. Yeah,
But it
you're
shows
somewhere
you
from the
some
northern continent.
Look, but the French and German and Eastern European and Italian are the most recent. But going back, then there's Ashkenazic, Balkan, British, and North African and Arabian.
So the Jew is from 4 to 7 generations ago. So somewhere,
that's right.
Somebody stooped a rabbi in your family.
My parents are going to get it done. Mommy and Daddy are going to get it done.
Well, tell the story about how you kind of thought, on some level, that your dad might have some Jew in him.
Well, my Nana used to say that they lived in Queens near Brooklyn, and Brooklyn was more Jewish, right? Traditionally Jewish. So my Nana would take her grandson, my father, and walk from Queens to Brooklyn, probably on a Shabbat or something. And then they used to go get matzah. They used to do candle lighting. So he has all these, residual. And she would have been, my great-grandmother would have been how many generations? So parents, 1, and that says 4 generations.
Yeah, so, oh, wow.
And the 4th generation.
So but the fact that they should bring him to eat matzah on Saturdays.
And my mother said that Nana would speak probably what we think is Ladinish, but, or maybe Sephardic. She spoke like Spanish. She spoke every language, so...
Yeah, I mean, so there you go. And Stan, our friend Stan, says, "I knew it." See,
do yours, Stan, and see. And I'm going to do my parents and see.
That 1.9% is a strong 1.9%. See, when I met you, I hated 98% of you, but 2% drew me in.
Felt it.
Yeah, I felt that 1.9%.
That's funny.
So just
we'll see with I want to do my parents and see kind of where it's from, and then I have birth certificates. I should do some.
Oh wow,
stuff.
Yeah. And what we've sent 23andMe things to your parents for the holidays, and I'm going to do one.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if I turn out to be Presbyterian?
I think you're going to be Lutheran. Yeah.
That's right. Oh.
Do we want to talk more about the trip?
Yeah, because as I said, let's do Boston. Let's get, because you know what will happen. Like by next week, it'll be, Boston was so long ago. So let's talk a little bit more about what we ended up doing. I went to the Museum of Fine Arts the night that you were at the poster. No, I didn't get to it.
Oh, the potato eaters.
Yes. Yeah. So.
What's it called? I'll look it up.
So this pisses me off.
Potato eaters?
The Potato Planters by Millet.
Okay.
Millet.
I'll pull it up so people can see it.
They have a free night because museums now, wherever you go, are in, say, you pay $25 to go in and look at rich people's paintings. It's like, hello, why? I mean, I understand why, and I understand museums don't have that much funding from the government and funding from taxes. I get, but to really just go in and sort of look around, and they're making you pay. I mean, I think the Guggenheim is like $30, some insane figure for museums that aren't, or maybe even are public. So I go, but on certain nights, I think it was Thursday night, the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston is free to everyone. And so I'm like, okay, that's the night I'm going. Cheap 90-something% Jew me. I'm gonna go on the night that it's free, unless I have the free night because you were presenting with you had the poster. And I go walking, and it's not very far from where the hotel is. I'm walking down, and I get there, and these giant baby heads on the lawn. And I take a picture of me with the baby heads, and that was kind of neat. I wish I had potato with me.
I didn't see that.
And I go in, and what was beautiful is at that time, it was closer to 5 o'clock than 7. Wasn't crowded at all in the area I was in. They let me in.
Wow.
I was going to throw $1 in the bin just not to be so. I couldn't even find a place to put the $1, so I just pocketed it. Right, and I'm walking around, and first thing you see is a hallway of this painter. I think it's Jean-François Millet.
Millet.
Yeah, or Millet, Millet. And they're wonderful. They're quite beautiful. One after another, the lighting, and he's, I guess, I don't know if he's impressionist or pre-impressionist. He's of that era of the French. And then 5 paintings in.
I'm French.
What do I see? Oh, Potato, you're going to love this. Look at it. beautiful. I mean, it obviously doesn't come through so
what you
beautifully.
did with potato the whole time. Potato was kept in the duffel bag.
I know. We brought a potato to Boston, and I kind of left him in the bag and forgot about him. But this is a painting by Millet called "The Potato Planters." Oh my God, it's gorgeous. I know, isn't it, potato? So there's the woman, and she's throwing potatoes down on the ground, and there's the guy, and he's taking a spade. I just love the light of the picture. It's quite a lovely. What? That's not the nicest Millet that they have.
It looks very dark. They
Yeah.
have to clean it.
But those are pretty well. I don't remember what else really struck me at the Fine Arts Museum, but they've got a serious collection.
Look, there's the potato.
Stuff. Let me get my head down properly here. Oh, there they. Oh, look, there they are.
Show
There are
them.
the potatoes. Oh, gorgeous.
They're planting them.
But I strolled around the museum for about an hour and a half until, I go into a museum and I'm going to be like, I'm going to see everything. I'm going to run
Look at
in.
your hat. It's crooked. Look what you got. You're crazy.
There we go.
Fix it normal.
Like a yarmulke now.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Wait, what happened? Wait,
No,
hold
honey.
on.
Come here. Just
There we go. Wait, fix it. Help. Oh, that's good. That's
there you
good.
go. Just don't move.
But by the time you get to like the African and Oceanic art, and you get to the knights in the armor, and all, I'm like, I don't have time for this. I don't want to deal with the Egyptian art. They had a couple of sarcophagi.
You don't care about that.
Yeah, I care about the Impressionists and the modern artists. That's what I like to look at.
I'm glad the conference wasn't in California.
Oh, well, while we were, California would have been the sensible place to hold a conference in November, except, of course, it was burning to pieces.
51 people are dead.
No, more than that. It's almost 100 now.
Really? Whoa.
Yeah, it was 77 days ago. There's 473 missing in California at the moment. Missing presumed barbecue.
So if we finish
Yeah.
about Boston,
Well, so that was cool. And what else did we do in?
we went to a nice South Asian place.
Yeah, an Indian restaurant that was supposed to have duck on the menu, because I've never had duck in an Indian restaurant. I love duck. Was it on? Did they have it? No, but I didn't have goat. Well, I had lamb, and it was very nice. It was a very nice restaurant. What was it called? Kashmir or something?
Kashmir, yes.
Yeah, that was Well, what else is interesting to sort of talk about? Well, God, still have more to talk about in Boston. What do I want to say about that?
I think you were born woke. That's what you wanted to.
Couple of just random things. I was talking about the library, two blocks from where we live.
Gorgeous. You want me to get the pictures?
Do Dorchester Library, Boston.
No, I have pictures of what I took there. It was gorgeous.
Wait, when did you go? Oh, we're thinking of two
Yes.
different libraries. Excuse me.
Yes.
I'm thinking of the library that was a block from where we were staying in the Airbnb,
Yeah.
which
You
was
can go
quite
backward,
wonderful.
David.
Yeah.
You can go backward and just.
I'll show that in a minute. Let me get to that one. I'll get to the main library in Boston.
okay.
Right. So the one that we were saying, what I want to say about that is, we talk about neighborhoods and the way people behave and so forth.
Yes.
And we were in an African American neighborhood.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, I went for a walk towards the end of my trip and nearly lost my shit when I came across a Muslim temple that had
Farrakhan.
they had a big sign saying, "Ooh, come, we're going to have a live simulcast stream of Louis Farrakhan's speech on Saturday morning," and a big drawing of Louis Farrakhan alongside Malcolm X and Martin Luther fucking King, right? And I'm looking, I'm taking pictures of this, and I cannot believe this man who is still saying anti-Semitic things to this day. And I'm standing there, and these fucking people in this church are going to be
It's a mosque.
a mosque, are going to be lining up to watch Louis Farrakhan live.
But go about the
Okay,
library.
but I'm going to give a sense of this neighborhood that's Dorchester and Roxbury. Black people, not a lot of white people in the neighborhood. Not a rich neighborhood, but seems fairly nice. Maybe not a place I'd walk around at nighttime, but no problem at all in the daytime. In fact, it's close to the zoo, the Boston Zoo, which I would have gone to in better weather.
Yeah, it was yucky.
But you go into the library in Dorchester, in this black neighborhood, and there's people there, and they're quiet, and they're reading, and they're respecting a library. And I say this because I come from a Jewish neighborhood on Long Island, and we are living in a neighborhood.
One bag lady poop herself in the library.
Well, you got the crazy people who go to libraries. That's you can't avoid that. But it becomes a community center in so-called, not so-called, in whiter neighborhoods, and neighborhoods where people are a higher economic class,
Yeah.
and they go and the babies are screaming and the kids are running around and people are talking and drinking coffee and they treat it as a social
Like a
circle.
Starbucks, yeah.
Starbucks are quieter than what libraries have turned into all over America, except this library, where people respect the book and they respect the institution.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a place of reading and researching and learning. So I was
Of course.
that meant something to me. As someone who's worked in a library for 20 years of my life and who loved libraries as a kid and who went into a library and whispered, because that's what you did, right? And I wish that would come back. I really do. Anyway, so we also went to another library. Now there's a main library right, about a quarter mile from the Heinz Center. And this is second probably only to the New York Library. It's almost modeled.
There's pictures of you and Totoro too. Just don't give us one.
But it's almost modeled on the New York Library because it's got lions, not out front, but in the main room.
Toward the door, you'll have
and then you go into
pictures.
these rooms.
Sideways.
Okay, well, first let me show this. You've got stained glass. What is stained glass? What are these paintings?
These were frescoes. Of, I think it was Judgment, or was it? They're all like moral. I'll show you the muses.
Let me see. Well, that would be amusing. Here's another one.
There's some kind of trial, and those aren't the muses, though.
Yeah, these gorgeous rooms.
What is that?
In a library.
Say?
Oh, is this upside? No, that's right.
What does that little thing say?
Fixed lighting. Well, yeah,
okay.
I can't really do that.
No.
But I mean, this is in a public library.
Yeah.
This is how this looks. Library of
I'll
Congress
show you,
looks like this
I'll show you
too.
The muses. The muses are there.
This is what happens when you have
Those
buildings.
are the muses on the left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, so.
You got it.
Oh, they're the trumpeting angels, I guess they are. Right? Angels of the book, and so forth. Oh, well, that's awesome. There you go.
Keep going. There's one more review of Totoro.
Oh, all right.
That's you on the
Oh, there's we went to a place and there's a comic book place, and we stayed outside, and there's a little picture of Totoro behind me. Okay. This is me naked?
No. It's
No. No, let's not show that.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, there's you. This is you with the Trident kissing ketchup.
Oh, of course, in honor of our potato friends, because
Show, yeah.
beautiful. Because I left the potato in my bag. Go back. Which way? This way?
No.
Hold on. Let me do this properly. Okay. Oh, is that the last one?
No, it's not. Give it to me.
What the hell's going on? I can't swipe.
Oh, God.
I never work on Tinder because I just can't. Yeah. What did I do wrong?
Oh, we have instructions for submitting your claim. Here, this is beautiful. These are.
Oh, show this. What are
That's
these?
you in the Trident. Oh,
Here we go.
You just knocked it out.
All right, you hold it up then.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I have no dexterity whatsoever.
That's you kissing ketchup.
Yeah, we had that. Yeah, that's nice.
What? And then, oh.
What? What did you find? These are pictures from our
I know a
trip to
little
Boston.
German that we found that shirt. It says,
Oh,
I know a
that's
little
cute.
German. It's a dachshund.
Yes,
That's cute.
we're dachshund people.
Are we? And this is what happened to you when you.
This is before. This wasn't even in
Yeah.
Boston. This is just a cute little gag thing.
Here, I'll show people that this is me.
I am very cute when I gag.
This is my 23andMe sample.
But it's not pee. It's
Yeah,
spit,
I
right?
like I'm kissing
Oh,
you.
that's sweet. That she makes my eyes cross when she kisses me, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
like that. I know a little German.
So okay, so a little bit more about Boston. What else? So
He's so cute.
so the library was gorgeous. That main library. And what was kind of funny is we went there one day, and then we had a little bit of time on the next day to go back. And we need a place for an hour just to hang out and check our email and things. So we go back to the library. We go on a different side of the street, and suddenly it's this modern, pretty normal, nondescript American library. I'm like, what the hell? I was just here a day ago. Where did the library go? And then it was like, well, you have to kind of go down that hallway and up the stairs. And then, so there's like one part of the library that's all modern and boring, and then this other part of the library that's glorious.
Yeah.
And that is one of the great things about Boston. The architecture.
Yeah, you loved all the high stoops and the buildings. You kept saying it.
Because we live in Greeley, Colorado, even in Denver.
1980s.
Yeah, nothing's built back then. Nothing's built in the 1700s. And there's a way things looked back then, and a care and a beauty, and all the rounded facades of the buildings on the streets, very close together. You know, you basically have your neighbor on top of neighbor on top of neighbor. But loved that. Loved. I mean, in nicer weather, I would just go walking around Boston. So many beautiful parks that they have there. What else do I want to talk
Where's
about?
the Bean? That's Chicago. Never mind.
The Bean? No.
Yeah.
No. What else? So on our last day in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, the plane ride back.
Plane ride, well, even before the plane ride back, we have time in the airport because our plane keeps getting fucking delayed.
Yes.
Now that's JetBlue, that's not United.
Yeah.
But our plane, because you know how it is.
The night before because we had a snowstorm.
Yeah. We had a little bit of snow. We had an inch of snow.
But the planes the day before got delayed too.
So that delayed our plane, which is a big deal because it was an evening flight, because that's the only flight that they have that's direct. So an evening flight coming back from Boston to Colorado, supposed to take off at 7:30. We get, as we're in the airport, we get, it's going to be 45 minutes later. We get the text from JetBlue. I'm like, great. So now I'm also on the phone with the people. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm also on the phone with the Greeley shuttle people to say, look, I know you don't have shuttles after 11 o'clock at night.
I wonder why.
Because there's not enough people.
Oh.
It's not economic, and they can't get a driver to wait around at 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's true.
But that is a problem for anybody who is flying back on a later flight.
Uber.
Yeah, well, but also Ubers. It's not twice the cost.
No, for two people, it's not.
No, for two people, it's not. But Uber is significantly more expensive of something that's already expensive.
Yeah, I know.
Because Greeley is 50 fucking miles from the Denver airport.
That can drive them.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not like we can get a friend to drive us at midnight.
No, I didn't
so
know.
now I'm crossing my fingers and I'm saying, look, the airplane is still supposed to get in at 5 after 11 at night. Can the driver said he would wait for us as long as there's no other passengers who have to come back from DIA. Because we'll run off the plane. JetBlue, they let us keep our luggage. We don't have to go to the carousel.
Of course.
And you went to the thing and said, please let us change our seats to closer to the plane.
And where they put us?
They put us in the front row. God bless them.
Yeah.
And so we're all set. And then we get the text that the plane's actually going to be 2.5 hours delayed.
Wow.
And it was either sleep at night in Denver airport or just splurge for an Uber, which we did. But the thing was, in the airport, first time I've ever eaten at a Wahlburgers.
Oh, in Boston.
In Boston, yeah. And coming out of Boston before going home.
Boston family, right?
Yeah. Is that why?
Yeah,
I thought that'd be a chain.
No, the Wahlburgers are from Boston.
Well, so we're like, okay, I want food because we're going to be here a while. And we hit the Wahlburgers in the airport. First of all, very nice burger. Very tasty, just the right size. I think
you had a double,
cooked
something
well.
Double, and I changed out your cheese,
But it was good.
With
it was
cheddar,
very good.
Yeah.
And then some French fries.
Yeah.
Very nice and reasonably priced. I mean, it's a burger, but for an airport, very reasonably priced.
Yeah.
And then for no particular reason, we did not order this. We did not ask for this. But they gave us onion rings.
It was like a 10 blooming onions put in a pan, yeah. Yeah,
and I'm talking like, maybe they just had an explosion in an onion factory. I don't know why and they're just mounds of onion that we didn't order.
But what, like curly fries? I don't
because they weren't particularly good onion rings, unfortunately. They didn't have like big fried, nice piece of onion. They were these little stringy things with like a hint of onion in them. But you're in an airport, you're hungry, they're there, they're free. And we're eating it, but it wasn't like a couple little. It was like a mound.
It gave me such it didn't give me a little flippers,
Yeah. That was a rough part. I ate a burger, fries, and onion rings. You had onion. You never eat fried food. You ever eat bad food like that? But we did. You didn't eat the burger, but you ate the rings and the fries. And then we're sitting there, and as the time is moving, we're both having these things work on our stomachs. And we know that we don't want anybody sitting next to us on the plane. Because I'm lifting one cheek, you're lifting the other cheek. I'm like, what can you do?
Cheeks, don't say that.
All right. No, but what killed me in Boston was I was constipated. And I was desperate. I just wanted to take a dump before getting on the airplane because I don't want to take a shit on the airplane. I tried.
Oh, did you go?
I tried 3 times in the airport to make it
Wow.
to get a dookie out,
Yeah.
and it was just farts and like a nugget, and you're like, oh god damn, there's I have to sit on the plane uncomfortable, or worse, have to get up, and then I'm sitting on the toilet, turbulence. Wouldn't it be good to shake out of me?
You would have fit right in with that group.
So, but they put us in the front row, which
awesome.
Didn't matter at that point because we didn't have a
nice,
shuttle
though,
to catch.
yeah.
And we were sat next to a woman who, nice older woman, but she had allergies. She had allergies severe to the world.
Smell.
Yeah, smell. So not even just peanuts, but if anything smelled like anything, she was going to have an allergic reaction to it. So now we're both worried about farting because we've been eating all the Wahlburgers. And we're sitting next to her, but at least we have a little more leg room than everybody else because it's the front row. We don't have. We actually had trays.
And she moved they moved the stewardess, the flight attendant who read her Kindle the whole time. She did move our bags up.
Yeah, she did. So, but what happened was before the plane took off. This was before, right? It had to be. Yeah. We suddenly get the most horrible fecal smell. And it wasn't for me, I promise you this.
No, and you looked at me and you were like, is that you? I was like, the woman didn't drag the kid at first. First, 3 people came, they looked like English bobbies wearing bright fluorescent yellow jackets, and they were the hazmat crew.
Yeah. And
they went back to clean.
Because apparently this kid, I assume it's a kid, just couldn't deal. Probably, what happened was, I'll bet he didn't even shit his pants. He probably pulled his pants down and made it just to shit on the floor or on the seat or something, because suddenly the whole plane stank of excrement. And now and you literally have 3 people in hazmat suits coming on with sprays and cleaners and whatever to just try and clean that up.
Which triggered Our Lady.
Yeah, and this woman who has a real problem with allergy to smell, she's now going, she doesn't, did she vomit? She didn't vomit.
She didn't vomit.
Unless she went to the bathroom to do it.
She did go to the bathroom. But then as soon as the plane took off and the seatbelt signs were unfastened, the woman dragged this pasty kid all the way up into the bathroom with that. And then you said, is that you? I said, that's the kid who did
it. Because by then the kid was okay.
I don't know if he was okay.
Kid was fine then.
I know, he smelled the doo-doo.
If she dragged him to the bathroom 10 minutes earlier, it would have been a different situation. So, and that poor allergy woman, that just wrecked the flight for her.
That just set her off.
The whole flight.
And then the flight attendant had stinky perfume. You would think they would be told not to wear fragrance. Right?
Yeah.
But,
no. And then the flight was okay, and we got in. We took an Uber for basically $100.
From the plane before,
Yeah. And we made it home. Yeah. And our dog was fine. So thank you to Abby for looking after the dog and Susan.
Yeah, let me text Abby.
For doing that. Do we have any other? Oh yes, we have a couple more because half the show's over already.
What happened?
We have more Boston stuff, more Boston fun. First of all, what we missed by leaving Boston on Saturday instead of staying for another day or two is at Fenway Park, the great Fenway Park where the Red Sox play and won the World Series this year. On Sunday, do you know what they had? Because this is weeks after the World Series.
Know, horse?
The I don't know if it was might have been the actual championship of one of my new favorite sports, hurling.
Well, Roger, so at a poster, I know somebody's the head of public health in Ireland, right?
Yeah.
And so another guy, he taught at Trinity College. So we're all talking at the poster, and they're like, yeah. And I said, oh, you like football, huh? And he's like, no, I like hurling. And I said, what's hurling? And he said, it's like golf where you beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like they take these highlight flingy things, these sticks, and there's sort of a hacky sack element to it. And they're showing this. They're showing this on the TV on like ESPN 5 or something. They have the championships of this at Fenway Park of hurling. So you've got these guys dressed in like rugby outfits, and they're trying to get at this ball and trying to whack it into the net. So there's a soccer element and a football element as well. And they're running around trying to get the ball, and they're showing this. And I said, oh, that's kind of a typical interesting sport.
Like, you told me it's like hockey with no ice.
Well, and then they cut as the sportscaster is describing this and saying why people should go see it, they cut to just all these men piling on top of each other and hitting each other. It's like the Batley Townswomen's Guild, doing Pearl Harbor. And that's probably, hurling at Fenway Park on Sunday. So now, not only do I love curling as a sport, I love hurling too. And I think the last thing, two more things. You mentioned the bagel place, but we didn't mention why.
The bagel shoot.
Oh!
Whip it.
This is the greatest thing ever.
Let me see if I can, what is it
On
called?
our last day.
Finagle bagel, right? Finagle?
Oh, I think you're right. Finagle a bagel or something. We're looking again to just duck in for a bit because we're in
bagel, Boston.
Midtown Boston. And we're looking for something light to eat. We go to a bagel place, right? Because it's East Coast. They can make bagels there. They actually make pretty good bagels here in Colorado. But, it's East Coast water. They know how to do it. So we go to a Finagle bagel place. And it's a typical, very nondescript bagel place, but they've got a nice upstairs to eat where you can just sit for a while and use your internet.
This is part of the...
Yeah, show me.
If they have the picture.
But here's the special thing. So they've got a woman at the counter, at the register, She's just there to take your order, ring it up, and give you your change.
She sends it back to the ladies who cook.
Right.
So did a wonderful job with my egg whites. Thank you, ladies.
It was really good. We would go back there to Finagle Bagel. So we're there. I order an everything bagel with something on it. You ordered what? Egg white. Well, on a bagel. What kind of bagel?
It's everything.
I think we both got everything bagels. So the woman at the counter, there's bagels laid out, uncooked, untoasted, on anything. She takes two bagels and she puts them on a conveyor belt.
Maybe I need to say that.
Which the public can see. The conveyor belt starts slowly rolling towards the kitchen or the back area where the person toasts it, slices it, puts cream cheese or butter on it, or the egg, or that's where they put it together and make it, and then it comes back out and then you're served.
Bagel slicing. It slices. Look. You want to show the picture?
Oh my God!
A bagel. We want to see
genius.
Is a real cut up.
This is bigger genius than I ever thought.
Bagel slicer. So let's look at this one. I don't know if this is the actual.
Oh, whoever thought of this should be on Shark Tank and a billionaire. Watch this. Watch this, folks. Look at that! Look at that! Is that the most beautiful thing ever?
I guess that's the slicer. That's the wheel.
I thought it was just something to get the bagels faster to the kitchen. But it's a slicey thing.
That is so
clever. Rips through the bagel right in half perfectly. And then it just like shoots the bagel off like a luge. Show that again. I want to see that again. Oh, please. Oh, please.
Stop it.
I don't know if any other bagel place in America does this. It's fantastic. Watch this. Whee! Oh no, oh no!
No.
Okay.
Oh no,
Oh, you can't put your hands there. Stop the conveyor. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Guy's
become
a paraplegic now. What's he gonna do? That's how. There we go. Look at that! Yeah! Oh man! I just came. Oh, that's so beautiful.
Now we know why. We should have asked them why.
Yeah.
The bagel conveyor belt cuts the bagels so they don't hurt themselves.
That's so brilliant. Genius. Oh,
brilliant.
Wow.
It's engaging the customer. Also, it's safety.
So, what a wonderful thing.
That was beautiful.
That may be my favorite thing in all of Boston. Was watching that bagel slicer shoot those bagels down.
Oh, honey.
And then the last thing, the very, very last thing, which has nothing really to do with Boston, except it was discovered while I was surfing Boston on the interwebs. And there's a movie, an animated movie, that was based on a book that was based on something else. And then there's been a live action thing of this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of this. This is actually a very popular thing in Japan. a popular book. It was, I think, a TV series. And now there's an animated movie coming out. And it's a romantic, sad love story in the realm of love story of The Notebook, of Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, movies like that, where it's a sad, funny romance.
You want to play the trailer?
Name of this movie. Here, I'm going to show this to you, and then I'll name it. This adult-oriented, romantic, sad drama animated film. Here we go, and it's called. Wait, let me. Oh, can you get it going?
Okay, sure.
Oh, here we go.
Let me do this.
だから僕は人に興味がない。そして人も僕に興味がない。言わないよ。言うような相手もいないし。だから結局君にしか頼めないよ。ねえ、桜が春に咲く理由知ってる？びっくりした？悪いけど遠慮する。私が今日話しかけよ。誰にも言ってないから。どういうこと？こうやって普通のことをしてるよな。
Can you get the idea of this, right?
Well, people like it. Look, they like it.
それ人と関わるべき。死ぬまで待ってよ。君はさ、本当に死ぬの？まだ名前はない。劇場アニメ。君の製造を食べたい。2018年。
In case you missed that, in case you missed it,
Yes.
the name of the film, I swear to you, the name of this romantic, sweet little animated comedy is I Want to Eat Your Pancreas. I kid you not.
Oh, it's coming back on.
I Want to Eat
There's this,
Your
the second
Pancreas,
trailer here.
which is based on the Japanese book, Let Me Eat Your Pancreas. Here we go, here's another trailer.
Oh, Stan says, I feel your excitement.
地味なクラスメートか、それ以下にしか思ってないよ。言わないよ。言うような相手もいないし。友達いないの？私が残りの人生で一緒に遊んであげようか。だから結局君にしか頼めないよ。話しかけられたり。
The once in a lifetime story is about to begin.
私たちって喋ったの初めてじゃね。女の子に興味あるの？僕が君にできることはあまりないと思う。君はもうちょっと人と接しなさい。
Here we go.
君はきっとただ一人私に真実と日常を与えてくれる人なんじゃないかな。桜が春に咲く理由知ってる？君に話しかけてよかった。僕は君に出会うために来てきた。
Coming soon! Ladies and gentlemen, I Want to Eat Your Pancreas.
Oh my God.
It's coming soon to a Japanese theater near you. And of course, I mean, it's got that thing of like, when you love someone, you want to eat their cancer, as it were. They have this thing in them.
I think it was like Kurt Cobain, or was it Hole, where they said, I want to eat your cancer when it turns black.
So, but would you name a romantic drama, I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, or Let Me Eat Your Pancreas?
Beautiful.
Really?
Maybe the translation, something's lost, huh?
I mean, that could also be the Jeffrey Dahmer story. It's like,
He didn't eat pancreas.
I mean, he ate everything. He cooked them all up in it, in kind of a gay gumbo.
He ate frog's legs.
So that was Boston.
Why don't you put on the interview so we can go? I'm sweating, baby. It's
Yeah.
too exciting.
Oh,
too
my
much
God.
excitement.
Oh, so much excitement here in the Dave's Gone By Daverhood. On this Saturday morning. Yeah, it's still Saturday morning. Can you believe it?
No.
It's about 11:15 Mountain Time here on Dave's Gone By. We've got so much for you on this program. We have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned coming up. We also have StoryTime. We're going to do more of things that can attack a pancreas, the color atlas of intestinal parasites, and what else? And our Saturday segue of songs in the news, that's coming up. But before all that, very, very excited about our friend, our new guest in the Daverhood, being interviewed by the one and only Rabbi Saul Solomon, the founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches, who, and this is way cool, they actually met in New York at the Producers Club,
Whoa,
which is it's a place on Westworld, kind of the opposite of swanky.
I bet you they don't serve frog there.
No, this is a place where tons of off theater is done and workshopped and rehearsed. And Thomas G. Waits, who is the actor and director, he teaches a class there every Monday night, I believe, an acting class. Sure, yeah, love to, yeah. Because he teaches especially Shakespeare and yeah.
Yeah, but does he teach non-Shakespeare, like yelling angry at Hasid?
That'd be good. Maybe Rabbi Saul needs to take his class. Yes. Well, Rabbi Saul gets a first-hand look and talk to Thomas G. Waits. Now, if that name rings a bell, it's not Tom Waits of album fame and Renfield Dracula. What's he building in there? No, this is the other guy. This is a fellow who was in a movie called The Warriors, except he had his name removed from the film, and he'll be talking about that. You'll have to listen. The Wanderers he was in And Justice for All. John Carpenter's film The Thing.
And Justice for All was an old film, a black and white. Oh no, it was a Metallica video.
Oh, well,
it comes from an old saying.
No, there's a Pacino film. That's the famous Pacino moment when he says, "You're Agaborga, you're Agaborga. This whole trial is Agaborga."
I love the principle of justice for all.
Well, yeah. Good luck getting justice for all in this world. Yeah. So there's that. And this is way cool.
What, honey?
Thomas G. Waits is also a theater guy. He directs a lot. He was in the original New York staging.
Triple threat actor, director, producer?
He's actually produced, he's directed a short film as well. But he was in the original New York American Buffalo.
Whoa.
Yeah, like serious whoa. He didn't come to Broadway with it. They hired this other actor to play the part. I guess we'll ask him. Who was a drug addict and ended up dying like on stage.
Oh, God.
So they should have brought Thomas G. Waits to Broadway in American Buffalo. And I keep forgetting to mention this. What? Thomas G. Waits was in a one-night or one-week Broadway flop with Debbie Harry and Andy Kaufman.
Oh my God, Taxi?
Well, Andy Kaufman from Taxi. It was called Teaneck Tansy in America. And it had a different name when it was done in England and elsewhere, and I think Australia. So all of that, tons to talk about. I mean, does that sound exciting or what?
That's really cool.
With Thomas G. Waits talking to Rabbi Saul Solomon
What's
here.
The G stand for?
I didn't check that. I don't know.
I think it's Godot.
That could be it.
Tom Godot.
I'm sure he's actually directed Waiting for Godot at some point.
Godot. I think it's Godot.
Well,
I'm part English, I know.
Actually, if Rabbi Saul Solomon were directing, it'd be Waiting for. God damn it! Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, or don't I know what's her name? That Renee woman has been waiting for this. Here are Rabbi Saul Solomon and Thomas G. Waits.
Hey everybody, this is Thomas G. Waits. I'm an actor. You might know me from The Warriors or John Carpenter's The Thing or And Justice for All with Al Pacino or lots of other stuff. But anyway, here I am with Rabbi Saul Solomon on the great podcast Dave's Gone By. Mazel tov.
Oh, shalom, my friends. Shalom, friends of the Daverhood. This is your old pal, Rabbi Saul Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And I am thrilled and delighted to be talking with Tom Waits. Now, it's not the scruffy guy with Ricky Lee Jones and all the albums. No, this is Thomas G. Waits, a man who has been on Broadway, off Broadway. He has been in movies with people like Al Pacino and has acted with Frances McDormand, a long and varied career. Currently, he still acts, but he also teaches. Is it a weekly thing here?
Yes, every Monday.
And we are at the Producers Club in Midtown Manhattan, over between 8th and 9th Avenue on West 44th Street. I'm me. He's Tom Waits. Welcome and shalom to you.
Thank you, shalom.
Now, you're not Jewish, though.
I'm not Jewish, but in a way, aren't we all Jewish?
Tell me in what way?
Didn't we all come from aren't we all descendants of Abraham?
I like to think so.
I like to think so too. If only more people could think like that.
I'm more of a descendant of Jackie Mason and Lenny Bruce, but okay, yeah, Abraham also, he's in there somewhere. So I do have to ask you, I mean, you've gone under some different names, like T.G. Waits or something like that. Is it because of the guy?
Yeah, because it's trying to differentiate between the great Tom Waits, and he is great, and I tip my hat to him. He has more musical talent in his fingernails than I could have in my entire soul, and I think he's quite a brilliant songwriter and musician, and also very famous, and hats off to him. But I, in my own right, am Tommy Waits. A lot of people call me Tommy. That's part of the distinct. People in the business, especially. Oh, you mean Tommy Waits? So I put in Thomas G. Waits, and then I was doing a movie that was so bad that I thought, aside from take my name off it, what else could I do? So I used T.G. Waits.
Now, this is not the movie that you famously took your name off. This is much later in your career.
Right, this was later in my career, yeah.
So, but do you ever get a check for the other guy? Do you ever get a phone call, an agent call?
It's funny you should ask me that, because one time, I'm also a playwright. I have my MFA from the University of Iowa in playwriting. And one day I opened the mail, and it's a letter from Kathleen Brennan. That's Tom Waits' wife.
Yeah.
And she goes, and we knew each other many, many years ago, all of us. So we hung out a few times.
Like when he was doing Bon and Gilead in the Village, that era?
I think he had just moved to Manhattan.
Wow.
This is the early 80s, maybe 83, 84 maybe. And anyway, I knew Tom and Kathleen, and they had had their first child. And Tom very kindly met me down at Broome Street Bar. We had a few beers, we went and talked. And then later, at another time, I had run into him with Kathleen in the Village. Anyway, I knew her. I can't say we're friends or anything, but she sent me a letter with a check in it because I had written a play about baseball.
What was the play?
I think it was called The Pitcher, and it was about a young boy. It was a monologue. It was a young boy that was pitching in a baseball game, and his father was watching. And he was a great pitcher, but with each pitch, his father stepped further and further away until finally he was pitching so badly that his father finally just turned his back and walked away. It's very sad. So Kathleen writes me and says, "Dear Tom, I read your play. I liked it very much. Enclosed is a check for $75 from the publishers they sent to us by mistake. And I just wanted to say to you that every once in a while, people go up to Tom in the video store to tell him how great he was on NYPD Blue, which he's never done, of course. And he, instead of argue with him, he just stands there and shakes his head."
I thank you for that story. Thank you for that connection. So now, all the rest of this interview is going to be about this Thomas G. Waits, who, if you know him, you might know him certainly from a film that does not even have his name on it. We're going to get to that. It wasn't your first movie. Your first movie was Joan Micklin Silver directed?
That's right.
What was that?
Joan Micklin Silver produced it. Her husband, Ray Silver, directed it. It was called On the Yard, with the great actor John Hurd, and Richie Bright was in it, the great Dominic Chianese, James Remar had a small part in it. A lot of great New York actors. David Clennon was in it. A lot of great New York actors. It was a prison movie that was released in 1978. And that is what helped me to get the movie that you're referring to, The Warriors, which is the most famous movie I've ever done, and the movie that I did, in fact, have my name taken off.
Now, I mean, were you, you've told this story before, but you never told it to me or to my 5 or 6 viewers. So, were you a brat? Were you full of yourself as an actor and you thought you were better than the director? Was that the deal?
Yes.
It was Walter Hill, right? The director of The Warriors.
Yeah.
Wanderers or Warriors?
The Warriors.
Warriors, of course, yeah.
It wasn't so much that I was a brat. I was never a brat, because I come from a lower middle class background, poor family. And I was never a brat. I just asked him too many questions, and he was over budget and behind schedule, and the executives were breathing down his neck. And the last thing he needed was some young actor saying, "Excuse me, why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that?"
In retrospect, now that every movie is ultra violent, when did you complain back then that why were they making this movie so violent?
I didn't think that was the movie we were going to make. When Walter, I was offered The Wanderers and The Warriors at the same exact time.
Oh, no wonder I got confused there. Okay, got it. Yeah.
So I was 23 years old, and I signed a 3-picture deal with Paramount Pictures, and I thought I was going into business with the guy that, where it was a collaboration, and all of a sudden we were spending weeks and weeks on people getting the living shit beat out of each other. And I'm like, wait a minute, you know. I mean, now, of course, in retrospect, by comparison, it makes it look like child's play. But at the time...
And you thought it would be a love story, really.
That's right.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a love story. And so when I questioned him on that thematic component, I think he got perturbed with me. And also, let's, you know, take a minute and try to understand his side of the story. He had just released a film, The Driver, with Ryan O'Neal and Bruce Dern, that didn't do very well. He's over budget, he's behind schedule. These movies are extremely expensive. He's got a studio breathing down his neck, and he's got this young punk kid saying, why this, why that?
And he is the director.
And he is the director. And instead of going to my agent, which is what I should have done, and say, listen, would you get these items cleared up for me because I'm confused about them? Because that's what you pay an agent for, to be an emissary or to intercede on your behalf, shall we say.
At least 15% of the time, yes.
You know, my children are Jewish.
Really?
Yes.
That would mean you married a...
I'm married.
Oh, the hell with this Warriors Wanderers thing. How'd you meet your wife?
Oh, she's the most beautiful woman. Her name's Lisa Greenberg. St. Louis, Missouri. She goes to synagogue every Saturday.
Oh my gosh, she's really Jewish.
Yeah, and her parents were great people. And she and I met, well, to tell you the truth, what happened is I was sitting in a diner. I used to do a lot of drinking in those days, you know, so it was the next morning after a long night out, and I was with another woman, and I saw this beautiful woman walk by the diner, and I threw the cutlery down, took out a 10, gives you an idea how long time ago it was, that took care of the bill, and I just followed this woman out the door and down the street, around the corner, and into the local health club of which I was a member. I watched her teach an exercise class, and I waited for her. And I said, excuse me, could you spot me while I'm lifting weights? And she's like, okay. You know, like, why don't you ask a man to do it? So,
That's much fun.
Lifting weights, I said, what's your name? And she said, Lisa Greenberg. And I almost dropped the weights on my chest, and I went, are you Jewish? And she goes, yeah. I go, you don't look Jewish. And
there's a pickup line right there. I said, oh no, you're attractive. Well, what the fuck would you say that? But anyway, okay. And yeah.
And she's a good girl. We had 2 beautiful children together. We were married for 12 years, divorced for 13, back together for 3, and then she left 3 years ago. That's the story of my life.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But I do love and adore her to this day. And I probably always will.
Well, what, this is really personal, but was it whose fault? I mean,
mine.
Why? What? What did you do? You stuck around? Did you back to drinking? What?
No. I've been sober a long time.
Oh, bye.
I just, I think I'm a bit of a solipsist.
You go off on tangents? What does that mean?
A solipsist is someone who's self-absorbed.
Huh? Are you an actor?
What? How could that possibly be?
You're not Jewish.
Never go together.
Yeah. Duh.
But I do love the Jews. So.
That's yay.
I do love the Jews. I have to say, I am.
Because they annoy the hell out of me. Somebody loves them, I tell you.
They, to me, the most moving experiences I've ever had have been in a Shabbat service on a Friday night when the rabbi oftentimes will take a quote from the Torah and then elaborate upon it and connect it to what's happening in our everyday lives and our need to, let me just quote the most recent, embrace the stranger and, you know, learn to take care of the stranger. As you know, one of the people that was killed in Pittsburgh used to do free dental work for migrants, and I'm going to start crying if I can.
Because there are dentists that I've wished died. They gave me so much horrible pain, but not this one. But let's talk also a bit more about, again, you had this rapprochement with Walter Hill, who was directing the movie, and you, as you have often said, it was a mistake. You took your name off the movie instead of keeping it on there because it would give you name recognition even if you've fallen out. But you met Hill again, and you
made up.
I tried to make amends, yeah. I called him in the late 80s, and he was nice enough to take my call. And I said, listen, I'm really sorry. And he said, well, it's okay. It's just I got pissed when you took your name off of me. And I said, I don't blame you. And I said, I'm sorry. I apologize. And I wrote him a subsequent letter to complete my amends, and that's the end of that. I haven't seen him since. I wish him the best.
He's still alive.
Yes, he's doing great. I mean,
Walter, if you're watching, if you're listening,
yeah, and he's a very good director, very exciting action director, and maybe I'll get to work with him again someday.
Now, speaking of people that you worked with more than once,
yes,
hint. Well, you did the original off-Broadway David Mamet classic American Buffalo. You were the original kid.
I was the original kid. Well, okay, so the word original, if we're going to be Talmudic, if we're going to be Talmudic about it,
yes,
and really scrutinize the text with reason, the original Bobby was William H. Macy, who is now a big star.
Oh my God!
Of Shameless and many, many other things. A great, great, great Chicago actor. He was the original Bobby. I think J.T. Walsh played Teach, and I think Lane Smith played Donnie, if I'm not mistaken. That was the original production, directed by Greg Mosier. Then they did it in New York with Bobby Duvall, and John Savage played the part that I played. Kenny McMillan played Donnie.
Wow.
Then years go by, and now we're in the late 70s. That was like the mid-70s. And I went up to Al while I was working with him.
Al, yeah.
Mr. P, as we like to call him, Al Pacino. And I said, listen, you should do this play. And I put American Buffalo on his dressing table. And I thought, well, I'll never hear from this guy again.
Now, he was already known by then.
Of course. He was a huge star. He had done The Godfather and Bobby Deerfield.
But this was after Injustice for All or before?
After.
So you were in that with him. So you knew him from doing that.
Yeah.
We're talking, of course, about the original New York American Buffalo, which you were in with Al Pacino. Right. I mean, not the one in the early 70s, but the one later on. Yeah.
Right. It sort of, I don't want to say rejuvenated, but it sort of re-sparked a great career that he'd already had, but it brought him back to the New York theater scene, and we had lines around the block, and a great actor named Cliff James played Donnie. It's a 3-character play. Al was great in it. It's like watching live electricity, you know.
But here's the question. Eventually, it then moved to Broadway.
Yeah.
But you did not go with it.
No, because I got the movie The Thing.
With John Carpenter directing
right.
it. Yeah.
So I had a choice to either stay in it or leave, and I went to Al, and I said, listen, what should I do? You know, I'm in this hit play with you. A lot of people are seeing it. It's good for my career. And then I have this part in this movie, and he said, you have to do what's best for your career.
And he thought the movie would be?
Yeah.
Do you think that was the right?
I do think it was the right decision for me, and it was great. You know, I had a great time working with John Carpenter and Kurt Russell.
Any Carpenter stories?
Yes, my favorite Carpenter story. Although I don't know if I should tell this, but what the hell, it's probably too late now since I've already started. First of all, John's an amazing guy.
Okay.
I called him on his 70th birthday, January 16th, to wish him a happy birthday. He's a world-class great guy. And he was when we were kids, you know. He was in his early 30s, I guess, when he did The Thing. Just a really caring, sensitive person, and a very good director. And I pissed him off more than once, too, I can tell you that, I'm sure.
What is wrong with you?
Exactly. How to Ruin a Career by Thomas G. Waits. So one night we were all out drinking in a place called Hyder, Alaska. Hyder, Alaska is on the border of Alaska and British Columbia, so there's no police.
Okay.
If a murder happens, they have to fly the Canadian Mounties in.
Yeah.
And there's nothing there but miners, French Canadian.
Well, don't be touching minors. You get an Amber Alert if you do that. All right, but sorry.
So Keith David,
yes,
who, as you know, is black.
Yes, I do know that. I think he knows it too.
The only black person, except for T.J. Carter, who only came in briefly for a drink, and somebody said to him, hey, can you walk like they do on TV? And he said, no, man, I'm from Beverly. Anyway, Keith and I had had a few too many drinks. We all did. And we put Keith in the back of a truck and drove him back to the hotel from the bar.
All right.
And it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. And that night, Adrienne Barbeau just happened to fly in to be with her husband. And we carried Keith and put him in front of John's door and knocked on John's door in the middle of the night. And he opened the door, and there was Keith. He was really pissed off at us the next day. I mean, how dare you wake me up in the middle of the night?
Oh, because he was directing in there. All right. Yeah.
And we were working long, grueling hours, and it was really a stupid child.
Yeah, but it's a practical. It's not so bad. Oh, boy.
He forgave us.
Good.
John is one of the great. He's one of the great human beings.
I don't think we finished talking about Al Pacino, your friendship with him, which has continued. You were in the Richard III film that he did. Thank God he didn't make you Salome, but other than that, you've been in a lot of things with him.
Right, he did a movie called Salome, which is about the making of Salome. That's very interesting. He invited me to the screening of that, and I see him at the Actor Studio occasionally because we're both members there. And I try to wish him a happy birthday every year, and I wish him the best. You know, he's doing great. He's a great actor. You know, great guy.
Yeah, but is he able to be normal because he's so famous and so rich, but he can at that moment he can just be himself again?
Yeah, you know, he really likes the sports. Like, back when I worked with him, this is before credit cards. Isn't this funny? And the World Series was on. So this was like 1981, I guess. The Phillies and somebody were in the World Series. And we're in rehearsal, and he's like, and we were all living together in this house in New Haven. And he's like, we got to get a TV for tonight. He goes, you guys go to Sears after rehearsal and pick up a TV. I'll give you a check. So we go to this pre-credit card. So we go and we pick out the TV, and I think it was the stage manager, Mikey Urban, and I, and we go, we'd like to buy this TV, and the check is from Al Pacino, and it's signed, and we're supposed to fill in the amount. She's like, come on.
Oh, well.
So we had to call him, and she goes, can I talk to him? And I said, well, yeah, to get the chance. So she got her chance to talk to Al, and we got the TV, and we hooked it up, and we watched the World Series, and he's a regular guy.
That's a win-win. Speaking of still of theater, too, yes, American Buffalo was a major off-Broadway hit. You were in a Broadway flop, a show that closed in one night. And I remember this opening. It was with Andy Kaufman.
That's right, the great Andy Kaufman.
In Teaneck, Tansy. It was a wrestling play with a wrestling ring in the middle of the thing.
That's right.
Any memories?
Oh, my God, memories.
Like what?
Well, first of all, it was a big hit in London because it was called Trafford Tansy. So, and in England, just by virtue of the fact that you speak with an American accent, to them is just hysterical. So they created these ostensibly American characters. Dean Revel, I think his name was. That was the character I played. And I forget the character Debbie played, but it was a musical about wrestling.
Oh, I forgot it was a musical. I didn't realize that, yeah.
It was a musical, and it was like the hottest show in town. When they came in to audition, they offered Bruce Springsteen the part that I played. And after he turned it down, then they offered it to me. So I felt like I was in pretty good company.
Wow.
I'll take that any day. I'll be his second. Anyway, it was not a very good play. And at one point, they were going to fire Andy because what happens in big Broadway plays and feature films usually is that they have to fire somebody. I don't know. Like they fired the first AD in the Warriors also. Very nice guy, but heads roll. When there's big money involved, corporations generally heads roll.
So, are there some directors who kind of have to fire somebody early on just to prove that they're in charge and that they can?
Jose Quintero was like that. The great stage director, Jose Quintero, would say at the beginning of the rehearsal, one of you will not be here by the time we open.
Oh, how nice.
Just to put the fear of God into you. And I know a few people that were on the other end of that. But he was quite a good director, and so I guess that was his method of... Directors work in very different ways, and sometimes they like to instill fear in people to motivate them. Not my brand.
Yeah, I would hope not.
No, I'm a person of faith and love and courage and, believe it or not, hope. And
in Teen, or what we call Teen, you call it Trapper Town back in England.
Yeah.
Did you have to wrestle?
Yeah,
were you jumping around?
We spent. I think they added 4 weeks to the rehearsal schedule just so we could come in and wrestle every day. And we got thrown around and beat up and backs thrown out and bruised. My back looked like a map of South Africa by the time I was and it was fairly rigorous and an arduous process. And then it was problematic because the book was not very good. The music, could have been a lot better. And let me put it to you this way. It was so bad that one day during lunch, I told a joke. I said, I love being married. I was married for 12 years. I'd get married again in a second. Only this time I'd marry a Japanese girl. That way my mother-in-law would live in Japan.
That's cute. That's funny.
So the producer overheard, Kenny Greenblatt, he said, could you put that joke on Steve?
Just because they got to laugh. We need a laugh.
But Andy Kaufman was so amazing. As I mentioned, I used to drink quite a lot when I was younger, and I haven't drank in almost 15 years.
Alibi, Knockwood.
Yes.
Did you do the AA thing, or you just...
Yes, yes. I'm a proud member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm not afraid to admit it. I won't say anyone else is a member, but I can out myself because it's my business. But I was drinking quite a lot. So I would stop drinking late at night with the cast. And the next day we'd be doing these wrestling scenes. And during the matinee, your body cramps up from the alcohol. So I'm in the middle of this scene with Deborah Harry, and I think I have her up over my head. And my leg shoots straight out like this in a cramp.
Oh boy.
And I have to get Debbie down, and I'm like, my leg's sticking straight up, and Andy Kaufman knew something was wrong, and he came running up to me, and he starts massaging my leg, and he goes, it's okay, it's just a cramp, it's okay, I'll work it. And then she's like, you pussy, you faggot, you're afraid to fight me. And he's like, no, it's not fair, time out. And she's like, and fuck you too, and she hits it. Like
she's trying to stay in character while doing the...
We made a moment out of it.
Oh, wow.
He single-handedly turned that situation from what would be a complete disaster to one of the funniest and most interesting. We should have put it in every night.
Wow.
But I think it closed the next day.
Well, here's the deal with him. When he wasn't rehearsing, did he turn into a normal human being?
He was the sweetest, the kindest, the gentlest, the softest character.
So it was, the camera goes on, he becomes whatever, but he doesn't force everybody to deal with him in character. With all the respect, you were talking about, I think it was Pacino on another thing, and that if you talk to him when he's in rehearsal, he's going to be in that character that he's in the whole time, whether camera's running or not. But with Kaufman, no.
With Andy Kaufman was ill at the time.
Already? Yeah.
And he was dying.
Yeah.
And he shared that with me. One lunch hour, he was meditating under the stage, and I started up a conversation with him. And it's a friendly guy. He's like, you're really a great actor. I said, oh, thank you. And he said, I'm not well. And I'm trying to use the power of my mind to get myself better. I'm like, well, what's wrong? He said, I have leukemia. I'm in the advanced stages of blood cancer. But I'm going to try to use my mind to... And I was so touched by that guy. And he was such a kind and sweet and gentle man. And such a lovely man. And that's not to mention how great Deborah Harry was, because, let me tell you something, that chick is... She knew that while I sang, albeit rock and roll, I had a lot to learn as a singer. I had never been officially trained in singing. It wasn't my first. If you like Bob Dylan, you like Bruce Springsteen, you'd like my voice.
Shlomo Karlbach, perhaps.
Exactly. Yeah. But she would show me techniques of how to breathe so that I could get the note easier, and how I could, and with such love and such care and kindness. I actually fell in love with Debbie Harry. I had a huge crush on her. Caused a lot of problems in my. This was before the Jewess from St. Louis.
Before the Jewess from St. Louis. So was it reciprocated? Did you date?
No.
Well, she was still with.
Always. Loyal to the point of a fault. No, she would never. And she never encouraged me. But she was one of those women that gracefully accepted flirtation, which I admire that in a woman. A woman that knows that you're crazy about her, doesn't give you a hard time about it, doesn't encourage you, but doesn't make you feel badly about it either. I think there's an art to that.
Oh, indeed. Happens to me and women all the time. They
Right.
Throw themselves at me, and I'm just like, I've got my dear wife, Miriam Libby, and our 21 and a half beautiful children. So it's, I'm like, thank you so much. It's nice. If you want to pay me, maybe I'll do anything to you. Believe me, I'll stay downtown under the dress for hours if you pay me. But thank you so much. Thank you. So we're talking, reminder for a couple more minutes, with the delightful Thomas G. Waits, who is, the one thing we want to again say is that on Monday nights you teach acting at, was it TGW Studios?
TGW Acting Studio, yes. TGW Acting Studio, you can find it online on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook, Thomas G. Waits. It's also under Thomas Waits, too, if you want to send me a message about the school. It's the greatest acting school in America, if I might add.
All right. Now, what do you offer? Because there are a lot of acting teachers who are here in New York. What is your specialty?
Shakespeare. Because my philosophy is that if you can do Shakespeare, you can do anything. If you can do Shakespeare, you definitely can do Law and Order. The body's over here.
He was? No, he not was. Yeah. No question. Not a noble mind. He was an asshole.
You're funny.
Thank you so much. So that's the thing. And your key, though, to Shakespeare is not to declaim and proclaim, but
that's right. To make it your own. I mean, to teach people where to breathe and to extract the meaning from the text. And, Shakespeare is healthy for all of us because he opens up centers in our mind. I mean, he wasn't just a great playwright, you understand. He was the greatest writer of them all. Okay, there's a lot of great writers, but he's at the top. Everybody's somewhere underneath Shakespeare. Everybody tips their hat.
Even Jacqueline Suzanne. Even she.
Certainly Philip Roth and Tolstoy.
Well, they're closer.
They're closer.
Now, let me also ask you, and we're talking to Thomas G. Waits, sir, you generally act, and you're still acting occasionally.
Yes. I have an episode of The Punisher coming out on Netflix. I think they drop in January 19, and I'm in the 6th or 7th episode as a villain, and I'm looking forward to that. And I still audition for things, and I'll be directing a play. I can't say what play because we don't have the rights to it yet, but we're going to be directing a play in January. And then I'm also a playwright, and I've been offered an opportunity to direct my own play, McCare, which is a 19th century gangster musical based on a story by Robert Louis Stevenson, and I wrote the music to it as well.
Wow!
Yeah.
So where's this going to be done?
It's going to be done at the Courtyard Theatre in London.
Yeah,
it's a 175-seat theater in East London, and we're supposed to start rehearsal for that in late May of 19, yeah.
Oh, Mazel. And speaking also of directing, like about 4 years ago, you directed a short movie.
That's right.
With
Joe Mantegna.
And what was it called?
It was called The Rife Machine. The Rife.
R-I-F-E. The Rife. Yeah.
The Rife Machine is it's out there. It's a machine that supposedly can cure cancer.
Oh, okay.
The guy's name was Rife. He invented a machine based on sound waves. I got Francis Fisher and Joe Mantegna to star in it, and I directed it, and I won some Best Director award at some festival that I can't remember.
No, but Mazel Tov on that. What I want to know is, like, it's one thing to go and be hired as or to direct a show for a couple of weeks. You raise a few $1,000s, you do it, it's done. But to direct a film, did you kickstart? Did you go fund? Was there a producer? How do you get to make a short film?
Yeah, I think the budget was $38,000 or $40,000.
I don't have that in the bank.
Exactly. And I got Joe to do it as a favor to me, mostly because of J.J. Johnston, who is a good friend of David Mamet. And then I got Frances to do it. She's a good friend of mine. And it just came naturally. You know, I've been doing movies since I'm 21. So,
doing
acting.
Yeah, right.
So directing movies just came. I just was like, okay, let's go here, there. I just know. I know where it's. I've been doing it so long.
Okay, yeah.
I know what a master shot is. I know what a medium close-up is. I know what a close-up is. I know when to shoot a close-up, how to shoot a close-up. I know how to get the best out of actors.
But who financed? Were there producers, or did you?
There was a producer. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it was good. And I really would like to direct another film very soon, and I'm working on that. Yeah.
Mazel.
Yeah.
So look at all the things you're doing just in 2019. You got your own play you're directing in London.
Mm-hmm.
You got another show that you want to do. You can't tell me what it is yet.
In January at the Gene Frankel Theater.
Yeah.
And of course, you never know what else comes up along the way. You might get a surprise here and there. It depends on what the agent sends you that day.
Do you have to still audition? Or
yeah.
Or they expect you to be a type and they just call you in and they?
No, a few times. Like I've been offered. I think it's 2 movies and 1 Law and Order were straight offers where they just called up and said, "Hey, what's Tom doing? Is he interested? Available? Will he do it?" They send the script, but mostly I self-tape and or go into the office and audition. Either way, it's okay with me. It's anytime you get a chance to act, it makes you better. Nice. I have no problem auditioning. I'll audition like that, and I have a good memory and a good mind, an agile mind, so I pick it up quickly and take it up off the page into the other person and make it happen. You go in that room and you make something happen.
Is that what you teach? It's because you deal with Shakespeare, but do they come to you as like, I have to audition for this commercial?
Of course. I'll help them with everything. My students have done tons of TV, and I've had a lot of successful students. Alfred Molina was a student.
Oh, my goodness.
Vinny Pastore was a student.
Oh, he's been on this show, by the way.
Hey. Is he really?
Yes, say hello to him. By the way.
Yes. He's a dear friend. I've known Vinny he was driving a limo when he came to me. And because I taught him the basic fundamental rules of improvisation, he was doing that movie with De Niro, The Awakenings.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, I love it.
And the director said, "Is there anybody here that knows how to improvise?" And he put his hand up, and because I had him do animal exercises, and he was a gorilla.
Well, yeah, I can understand why he would pick that one.
And he
as
did
opposed
it.
To a gazelle. But,
and he, right, exactly. He did it, and he got bumped up to a SAG.
Yeah. Oh, McMuzzle.
Yeah.
So, and what the secret to improv is more than just saying yes, or not.
Well, that's a critical yes and.
Yes and, right, yeah.
But you have to establish where you are. You have to establish what you're doing. Most of all, most importantly, what do you want? And you have to know the person. So it can't be, "Who are you?" "No, it's Moishe. Moishe, how you doing? You said you never ate pork. What are you doing here?"
What can I tell you?
I just ordered a baked apple, and this is how it came.
You know that joke. You know that joke. That's a marvelous joke. Good for you. Oh, what a marvelous way to end this delightful conversation with Thomas G. Waits. Please give them, again, the website where they can find out.
Thomas G. Waits Acting Studio, TGW Acting Studio. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram. You can find us. We're all over the place. I'm easy to track down, and it's at the Producers Club every Monday night, 7 to 10. Just get in touch with me. I'll hook you up with my assistant, Trent. And we'll get you going. It's the greatest acting studio in the world, not just America, in the world.
In
the world.
All right.
And that's a promise I write in blood.
This I do not want to see. But I'd like to see you, first of all, in my shul. You haven't been yet. It sounds like you could be almost convertible. I'm thinking.
Hey, I'm thinking about it.
Oh, Oh, did I have to do any surgeries?
No, that's been taken care of.
You're ready.
I'm ready.
If you need someone to convert, I'm there. But for now, I want to thank you so much, Thomas G. Waites, for being with us in the neighborhood. Shalom to you.
Shalom to you and the world. Peace, my brothers.
You can tell that was literally in New York City with Rabbi Saul Solomon and Thomas G. Waites, the actor, because you can hear the sirens going off in the background. Because Boston was like this too. I mean, if you were anywhere near Midtown Boston, every 10 seconds there'd be an ambulance or a fire truck or something that was disrupting the day. But boy, oh boy, so glad to have the constructive influence of Thomas G. Waites here in the neighborhood, talking to Rabbi Saul. Remember that it's TWG Acting Studios, and for more information about that, you can go to Thomas G. Waites, W-A-I-T-E-S, thomasgwaites.com. And we thank him so much for being in the neighborhood on this Saturday, November 24th, 2018, our 674th episode of the show. We're calling it Waites, Don't Tell Me, in honor of our guest, but we still have more to do. I know my wife and I talked so much about Boston before, but we still have a Saturday segue of songs in the news to play for you. We've got, what else do we have? Friends of the Daverhood and our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. Can't forget that, because today we'll be going to Cortez, Colorado. It's actually a place in Colorado called Cortez. But before all that, we are going to get back into going to dip into our story time. Now, one of the cool things about story time is that we do a little, well, first of all, it makes my life easier because I don't have to, I don't have to come up with new material. I can just make fun of something that has already been written. For example, recently, one of our books was My Sheriff Goes Over Weather and Farm Safety, featuring Casey the Canine. Oh, what delight we had paging through this coloring book. There was a Little Bill book by Bill Cosby. That was kind of cool. And who can forget, of course, Feeding the Otters. So I thought I grow it up a little bit, because we've been doing a lot of children's books and young adult novels. There was, of course, the Hansel and his pet goat. That was what started it all months ago. But now, why not? Why leave out the grown-ups in the room? Why not have a book that appeals cross-generation? Missed that up. Cross-generationally, shall we say? A book that can appeal to young and old, to rich and poor, to healthy and especially unhealthy. And so last week, we did this marvelous book that I picked up at Potato Day in Greeley this past year. And of course, it's the delightful saga of the Color Atlas of Intestinal Parasites, ladies and gentlemen, by Francis M. Spencer and Lee Monroe. Oh, what fun. Oh, what joy. Now, we went through the introductions and the preface and the acknowledgments on all this. Let's get to some parasites, my friends. In fact, when we did, wow, that's a long introduction. I know we didn't get through all of that. No, we did that. Should have checked this before. Okay. Kids, snuggle up with your hot cocoa. Go by the fireplace. Moms, dads, lower the lights down and then hand out the popcorn and mugs of hot cider as we continue the Color Atlas of Intestinal Parasites. Now, kids, this volume is not in any sense a textbook of parasitology, and we have made no attempt to include detailed descriptions of the adult forms, life cycles, epidemiology, pathogenesis, or treatment. However, brief comment is included regarding the distribution and pathogenicity of each species. So I know a lot of the 8 and 9-year-olds were a little worried about that. They were a little scared of it. We're hiding in the closet. Were pathogens going to be dealt with here? And was it going to be a truly comprehensive look at, shall we say, the distribution of each species? But it's not. It's not. It's a kind of more of an overview, we might say. And in some instances, mention is made of predominant symptoms and pathology. Neither illustrations nor descriptions of animal parasites of man, other than those which inhabit the gastrointestinal tract, are included. So there's probably, essentially they leave room for a sequel. They say, hey, we're just dealing with the esophagus here, the duodenum, the stomach. If there's other parasites going through the human body, that's part 2, okay? That's the musical. This is just first and best, shall we say. All these subjects are beyond the scope of this book, and for these details, the reader is referred to the excellent and comprehensive textbooks on clinical parasitology by various other authors. Although we have emphasized here the failures and shortcomings of the technicians doing diagnostic parasitology in the average clinical laboratory, we'd like to point out that the picture is not always so dark. See, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Even in the darkest Grimm's fairy tales and fables, there's a positive side to it, and there is one here. The diagnostic laboratories in many hospitals, universities, and medical centers regularly provide reliable and accurate identification of the intestinal parasites, as well as superior training in diagnostic parasitology. Supported by local, state, and federal agencies, there are, over the country, a great many laboratories that furnish valuable consulting services in parasitological diagnosis, and at the same time, they train large numbers of laboratory technologists in the proper techniques of diagnostic parasitology. So, you know, kids, or those of you who are still awake, it's not all bad out there. There are great laboratories and great scientists and great medical people who are looking for these little parasites, these parthenogenetic species that are not going to come from you in the night, not going to take you from your sleep and kill you like the monster in your closet is about to. Anyway, moving on. Moreover, it is not surprising that some of the most experienced and capable technicians in the field are serving in the laboratories of military hospitals, because it was our good fortune to observe the exceptionally accurate and reliable work of such a technician. Our interest in diagnostic parasitology was, and I apologize for this word in advance, kids, aroused. And we were aroused and stimulated to undertake the laborious collection of material and the photographic recording of species with which we have been occupied for the past 6 years. So ends chapter 1 of the Color Atlas of Intestinal Parasites. But let's get to the heart of the book. That's still more shilly-shallying and dilly-dallying until we get to the real heart and bugs of the matter. Chapter 2, Laboratory Methods, Techniques of Examination for the Intestinal Parasites. It is not our purpose to present in encyclopedic form. It would be nice if they actually got to what the book is going to do. They spent like a whole fucking chapter saying, well, the book doesn't do this, and we're not doing that. And oh, no, we don't go here. That's another, like, what are you going to do in this book? We're not going to present in encyclopedic form all the wide variety of lab procedures for the detection of intestinal parasitism. There are, however, certain standardized methods, which in our hands have proved satisfactory for the collection and preparation of specimens. These techniques have in common simplicity and practicality. The student technician and physician are urged to become thoroughly acquainted with this or a similarly reproducible methodology before exploring more laborious or exotic paths. Oh my God, get to the bugs. In particular, one should be exacting in his criteria for morphologic identification. The use, and listen kids, this is the important part, the use of a permanent staining method for the demonstration of the protozoan forms is indispensable. So kids, you know how you wake up in the morning and your little underoos are stained? Basically the same thing. Too often, the inexperienced technician will make a positive diagnosis of a protozoan on the basis of a wet mound. Oh, I'm sorry, a wet mount. Forgive me, rather different thing there. They'll make a a positive diagnosis inappropriate, because positive is in quotes, which makes it ironic, kids. They'll make this wrong diagnosis on the basis of a wet mount and fall into the trap, carefully baited by nature with blastocytes. Oh, those tricky blastocytes. Oh, phagocytes. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I guess they're the ones that come in from behind. Yeasts and other confusing pseudoparasites and artifacts. So how you collect specimens, and I'm not talking about, basically the little tube in the doctor's office. The collection of adequate specimens is one of the most important steps in the lab diagnosis of parasitosis, and it requires evaluation by the attending physician. Every clinician should have a routine for detection of the intestinal parasites. So first you fire up the Keurig, right? And you wash your hands for a bit and check CNN to see if there's any breaking news. Maybe do a little mustache combing or beard combing if you need to. Then add milk, sugar as appropriate to your Keurig. Basic standard routine of checking anything for parasites or our beloved phagocytes. And you should modify the routine according to the demands of the situation. For example, it is important to realize that the patient would die. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is important to realize that the patient with diarrhea or dysentery is more apt to pass trophozoites than the cysts of amoeba. Who knew? Who knew? I would sit there, after bad Chinese food, or just getting off an airplane flight and go on the bowl, look down at my diarrhea and think, aha, those are trophozoites. When, my friends, they're not. They're actually cysts of amoeba, right, floating in there in my horrors and nightmares. So next time you have diarrhea, look down and pay attention, because it might, get your microscope under you, take a look, make sure it's amoeba and not trophozoites. Trophozoites. Forgive me. Forgive me to the trophozoites that I've insulted by mispronouncing them. The physician should therefore make certain that fresh. I need a sip of coffee for this, ladies and gentlemen, because I am always 8 years old in my mind. The physician should make sure that fresh, warm stools are available for demonstration of the motile forms. So don't use your sofa. Don't use a lounger, a Barca lounger. Don't even use like one of those hard stools that you'll sit on at countertops and kitchens. No, you need the fresh, warm, soft stools to do this, to make this book work. On the other hand, when the patient is passing formed stools in the laboratory, when the patient is passing formed stools, the laboratory should be alerted to search for cysts and to utilize concentration techniques. And I know that if I have to make a formed stool and it's kind of stuck in there, I've got to concentrate. I got to sit there and go, your mind isn't on anything else at that moment. You're not thinking, what's for dinner? You're not thinking, hey, that girl on that TV show is kind of cute. Those concentrate on those formed stools. Let's do a little more of the Color Atlas of Intestinal Parasites, the delightful book by Francis M. Spencer and Lee Monroe from various universities. They're A, B, M, D, and obviously involved in BMs. The number of, here we go. The number of stools submitted for examination, likewise, depends on the index of clinical suspicion, whereas most infections with helminths, never heard that word before, helminths, although I'm now going to start putting it in my mayonnaise, will be detected by one or two satisfactorily concentrated solid stool specimens. Kind of a shame, we used to have solid state televisions back in the day. Maybe one day, when we get a lot better with ecology and global warming, we make solid stool TV sets where we don't have to use plastics and non-biodegradable matter. but we can take our solid stools and form a beautiful casing that looks like wood. I guess poop can be conducted if it still has some electrolytes and zoophytes in it. It's a thought. It's a thought. Anyway, probably a thought I shouldn't be thinking, honestly. The discovery of a protozoan may be much more difficult, requiring repeated studies. Savitz and Faust, so they made a deal for this book, Savitz and Faust have stated that a single stool specimen examined by all methods will uncover less than half of Entamoeba histolica infections. Oh dear. That's like, it's actually histolytica. Entamoeba histolytica, who is, she was a famous Greek dancer, I believe. Anywho, and that 6 or more examinations are necessary if 90% of infections are to be discovered. In fact, Aliana and Fadel, back in 1959, recommended the study of at least 3 fecal specimens obtained by purgation. So they can't just be like, wait for it, here it goes. It's more like, making the fleet company very happy and rich. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been dipping into the color atlas of intestinal parasites. Should I go one more? Yeah, a little bit more about we'll get to this end of the section about collection of specimens, and we'll have more about that next week. The techniques, let's see. No, this is more. The techniques of specimen collection should be varied to meet a given situation. A patient who has resided in an area where Schistosoma mansoni is endemic. Schistosoma mansoni, the famous Japanese sumo wrestler, where this is endemic, should have examination of biopsy specimens from the rectal mucosa as the procedure of choice, and the evaluation of pruritus and use of the Graham-Scotch cellophane tape technique. Oh, man, what year was this? Oh, lordy. This was back in, 1973 was the most recent printing of this book. There was something, we're talking about, science was fairly advanced in 1973. We had men on the moon. We had hernia operations, heart transplants were being done. And yet for fecal examinations, you've got the Graham-Scotch cellophane tape technique for the detection of Enterobius vermicularis. What do they do? Do they take Scotch tape and stretch it across your ass? And then they wait, and when they pull, and I've got to look that up. I don't know what the heck that is. Unusual situations will require examination of aspirated material or duodenal drainage for strongyloids, oh God almighty, Strongyloides stercularis, or of course Giardia lamblia. Funny how some of these things everybody's heard of, and some of these nobody has. How weird that we've heard of Giardia. That has made it to the vernacular of common talk. And yet, schistomiasis I've heard of, or schistosomiasis, but Enterobius vermicularis, it is like something out of Harry Potter. Strongyloides stercularis. Some of these must have better PR agents. They hire publicists, these parasites do, and they say, you know what? I'm Giardia. I'm better than schistosoma. Let's get me up there. Let's have more doctors talking about me. Let's have more people ask about me when they go to the doctor or to their health practitioner. But anyway, we've been just having a delight reading the color atlas of intestinal parasites. And I know you've been waiting for sort of the money shot, the look at some of these things. So not to make you wait forever, to close out this chapter quite literally, here's a look at some parasites. Ain't they something? In color yet. And they're magnified about 150 something times or even more than that. But look at them. Yay. Doing the amoeba hop. Hop, hop, hop. Okay. That was story time for this Saturday, November 24th, 2018, here in the Daverhood, our 674th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio program of the stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz. We've been calling it Waits, Don't Tell Me. in honor of our guest in the Daverhood, Thomas G. Waits, who was with us just a little bit earlier talking to Rabbi Sal Solomon. Thomas Waits is now an official friend of the Daverhood, someone whom we're going to follow up with and find out what he's up to later on. Because we know he's going to be directing a show in January, and then he's going to London and having a play of his done. So we'll let you know. That's what we do with our friends of the Daverhood. Oops. And I thought I could segue into that music very, very easily, but I couldn't. Now I can. So here in the Friends of the Daverhood segment, we talk about people who've been on the program in months and years past, going all the way back to 2002, when we did our very first show in New York. So other friends of the Daverhood, other folks who are still active and doing really cool things. For example, gotta give a shout out to the filmmaker Ari Gold. His movie, Song of Sway Lake, is now available on demand in all the usual iTunes-y and Amazon-y places. The film recently won the Best Feature Film Independent Cinema Award in France. I don't know if anybody could get to it with all the protests going on over there, but congratulations, he won that award, and now everybody can see the award-winning film Song of Sway Lake, directed by our friend Ari Gold. Our friend Sidney Meyer is going to be at Pangea tomorrow night. For more information, go to PangeaNYC.com. He does a cabaret show. He's very lively, very fun. Sidney Meyer in the was in the Daverhood, and they're going to be performing tomorrow night. Then this Wednesday at the Tank in New York, they're going to be doing a free benefit for and at the Drama Bookshop in New York. So we like to tell about the Drama Bookshop because usually, almost every episode, we do a segment on the show called Inside Broadway, where I talk about what's opening on Broadway and the news, and sometimes I review some shows. Didn't have time for it today, but the Drama Bookshop is where you can find copies of the magazine that I help publish called Performing Arts Insider, the Bible of Broadway since 1944. So you can get a copy of this at both Theater Circle in Midtown Manhattan and the Drama Bookshop. And unfortunately, sadly, the Drama Bookshop has to move because the rents are going to be going up like 20%, and they're already paying like 20 grand a month to be there. So they're looking for another space downtown. Hopefully they'll find one, but it is an institution for actors and directors in New York, the Drama Bookshop. So we give them a shout out. And on the 28th, they're doing a benefit there. And I think one or two friends of the Daverhood will be there as well. On November 28th, the same night, Wednesday, 6 o'clock, our friend Michelle LaRue, the actress, is going to be at Elmwood Park Public Library doing one of her one-woman shows, Michelle LaRue, on Wednesday in New Jersey, Elmwood Park Public Library in Elmwood, New Jersey. And then this Friday, Neil Berg's 50 Years of Rock and Roll. He's doing it at St. Joseph's Regional High School in Montvale, New Jersey. For more information about that, go to neilberg, BERG.com. And also on Friday, oh boy, Loudon Wainwright III, our friend, and Suzy and Lucy Wainwright Roach, so he's keeping it in the family. They're all going to be at South Orange Performing Arts Center in New Jersey. Playing now through the end of January in London at the Olivier Theatre, Hadestown. The musical is featuring Andre de Shields playing Hermes, or Hermes, however you want to pronounce it, but pronounce his name, Andre de Shields, in London doing Hadestown. And then now through the middle of December, the musical Junie B. Jones, family musical there, written by our friends Marcy Heisler and Zina Goldrich. There's a lot of New Jersey stuff going on. That is at the Black Box Performing Arts Center in Teaneck, New Jersey. Now moving all the way to the other coast through the middle of December, Bruce J. Friedman's comedy drama Steam Bath is at the Odyssey Theater. That was the play that put Friedman on the map. Steam Bath at the Odyssey Theater in LA. Oh, and, Rabbi Saul will be very happy about this. The National Yiddish Theater's Fiddler on the Roof in Yiddish with musical direction by our friend Zalman Lotek, not to mention the original English lyrics were by our friend Sheldon Harnick. That's going to be closing at the end of December downtown, but then they're moving it to Midtown in February. It's going to be playing at Stage 42, I believe, for an open run. So if you haven't had a chance to get tickets to see this beautifully reviewed Fiddler on the Roof, directed, by the way, by Joel Grey, that if you don't get to see it where it's playing now, it will move in February to Stage 42. Now, speaking of musicals, beautiful, the Carole King musical on Broadway features a book by our friend Douglas McGrath that's scheduled to run, well, the tickets are now on sale through January 12, 2019. There may be a whole other block of tickets after that. It's still in an open run. School of Rock, however, that's closing in mid-January. So you have only until then to hear the lyrics by Glenn Slater at the Winter Garden Theater. Then the terrific musical, The Band's Visit, that's playing at the Barrymore Theater and features a score by our friend David Yazbek. Come From Away, wonderful musical by Irene Sankoff and David Hine. That is at the Gerald Schoenfeld Theater. On Broadway, Summer, the Donna Summer musical, features our friend LaChanze as one of the Summers, while Daniel Breaker is in Hamilton. He's at the Richard Rogers Theater. Meanwhile, moving away from Broadway, but to more cabaret, our friend Jim Caruso does his Jim Caruso's Cast Party every Monday night, at Birdland in New York. Oh, and want to let you know, what else? Leslie Jordan is going to be, or is in, Leslie Jordan is a cast member in the Fox Network TV show, The Cool Kids. It's a great idea. It's sort of Golden Girls for our generation now. It's a bunch of older people who are acting wild and crazy, and the show, it did a bunch of episodes, and then Fox picked it up for a full season. Vicki Lawrence is in there too. So, oh yeah, both Leslie and Vicki are friends of the Daverhood. And what's kind of cool is that I just talked to Vicki Lawrence again, but this will be for a magazine that I write for. So in the next coming months, look for my interview with Vicki Lawrence in Long Island Woman, but that's going to be weeks away from publication. You can hear my interviews with Leslie Jordan and Vicki Lawrence, however, by going to the archives at davesgoneby.com. Subscribe to drdemento.com for new and old Dr. Demento shows. Watch Two on the Aisle, featuring our friends Charlie Gross and Leslie Hoban Blake on Manhattan Cable TV. Same goes for Eva Heinemann, our pal, and her theater TV show called High Drama. Bob Cudmore, still doing New York history podcasts at bobcudmore.com. And then what else? Mary Shang Barnage, read her in the, she's in Windy City Times, and also her reviews are picked up at totaltheater.com. And finally, you're going to want to read Willard Manis's California and Los Angeles reviews in totaltheater.com. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. Well, it is about 7 minutes to noon here, Mountain Time, in the Daverhood here in Greeley, Colorado, where you are watching the Dave's Gone By Facebook program of The Stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz. We had a lot of fun today. We talked a lot about all the cool things we did in Boston. My wife and I did. We did, what the hell else did we do? That was half the show. And then we talked to Thomas Waits, of course. And then we had story time. Do we have more to do on this episode? Oh, yes, because I am feeling cultured and poetical, shall we say, because it's time for our Colorado Limerick of the Damned.
You're the poetry. A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick. Rocky Mountain,
yeah. So, yeah, it's Limerick time. We've been doing this for a couple of months now. I love this. One day, months ago, I had it in my mind to write a limerick about some town in Colorado where I live and work that popped into my head. And then I ended up writing another one and a couple more. And as soon as it became a thing, soon it became like, how many poems, short poems, limericks, can I write about various towns and cities and municipalities in Colorado? And it turns out more than 60 of them. So yeah, we've been doing week by week, every week, one little limerick. And today's Colorado Limerick of the Dam, because limericks, you know, they're short, they're 5 lines long, and they tend to either have a punchline or to be really, really disgusting and filthy, guilty on all counts. So we've got one of those for you today. And where are we going? Oh, we're going to Cortez, Colorado. I bet you haven't heard of that. I hadn't either. But yes, Cortez, Colorado was built in 1886 for ditch diggers on the Dolores River. It has many historic and prehistoric places, not really a great vacation spot, but it's out there. And it's got a population of under 10,000 people. Basically, it's kind of like Greeley. It's a gateway for other places. People might stop through here on the way to Fort Collins or Denver. People might stop through Cortez on the way to anywhere else. According to roadsnacks.net, in 2005, Cortez ranked 8 out of 10 on the list of the 10 worst places to live in Colorado. Quoting the article's author, Nick Johnson, quote, Cortez has a Walmart supercenter and an airport, but that's where the excitement level ends. Wow. So what better place to honor with a limerick on this Saturday morning than Cortez, Colorado? Here it is. This is not so terrible. You can keep the kids in the room for this one. Just close one of their ears. Our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. A curious girl from Cortez suspected she might be a les. She slept with one whore, then 25 more, and now she's got chronic herpes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is our Colorado Limerick of the Damned for this Saturday, November 24th, 2018, here in the Daverhood, where it's 3 minutes till noon Mountain Time. Are we done now with the show? Do we go out on that wonderful, scintillating, poetic note? Oh no, because my throat needs a little bit of a rest. Plus, there's a segment we've been doing for years. We call it a Saturday Segue of songs in the news, and this kind of cool, where I'll play a piece of music, or nowadays 29 seconds legally of a piece of music, and your job is to figure out why I'm playing it, to figure, what is in the news? What happens socially or culturally that would make Dave think of playing this song with this title or by this artist or with these themes? It's our Saturday Segue of songs in the news. We're going to start with a cover version of a popular tune by, well, you'll recognize the voice immediately. Do I have to? I'm going to start it playing so I have enough room to actually play enough of the song so you'll get the title and hopefully get why I'm playing this on Dave's Gone By, on this day after, I should say.
Coming Tuesday, I feel better. Even my old man looks good. Wednesday just don't go. Thursday goes to show. I've been on my mind.
Okay, there you go. That's as big a hint as I can possibly give you there. David Bowie there, from his album entirely of covers called Pin-Ups, with a song called Friday on My Mind. Friday on My Mind. Why would I be playing that on a Saturday? Well, of course, because yesterday, all over America, was Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving holiday. So first to have a day that should be celebrating family and the comforts and conveniences and the joys of being an American, but also kind of looks over what we did to the Native Americans and all the indigenous peoples who were living here before our forefathers got here, speaking of 23andMe. And then the day after is a pure celebration of capitalism in its outer form of like, you can't be a satisfied American with what you have. You need to buy. You need to keep the economy going by going out there, supporting your local small business, your big business, and just buy shit, because it's Black Friday. So yesterday was Black Friday, and how did it go? Well, the numbers we'll get later on. Did people rush out? And because this is a very, very big and important time for a lot of retailers, like 20% of their annual sales can come from this weekend alone or more. So, and when I've been talking about Cyber Monday coming up, we won't know how well this weekend is doing, although early reports are it's doing very, very well. What we do know is that on Black Friday yesterday, a gunman opened fire in a mall in Alabama. Here's the this is the amazing thing. So somebody opened fire. I don't know if anybody was hit. And then there's this guy waving a gun around, so the police shoot and kill him. Well, the person waving the gun around was not the guy who fired the shot. It could have been, this is an army soldier that they killed. This could have been a guy who drew his weapon when he heard the shot and was now looking around to see who the shooter was and trying to help. This is NRA America, folks, in Alabama. This is what you get when everybody has a gun and draws it in this kind of situation, instead of waiting for the people who have the weapons to take care of this. I don't know. But anyway, that's Black Friday for you. Also, a shooting in a New Jersey mall last night at 8 o'clock. A man was shot in the wrist in the incident. But of course, people get shot in Jersey malls every Friday. So this is nothing new. So we've still got Cyber Monday around the corner. We'll be seeing how that ends up going. But we played Friday on my mind because, of course, Black Friday is on everybody's mind. And there isn't like a Black Friday anymore. There is stores started their Black Friday sales last Monday. Like, they're not going to be waiting for Friday, and then when they get the jump, everyone they're going to, how, and everybody knows how, people start selling for Christmas the day after Halloween, or nowadays it's even the day after Labor Day, essentially becomes Christmas shopping season. I'm telling you, Black Friday is going to end up starting November 1st. And so then there's our Black Friday sales. Why wait till 3 Fridays from now? Start shopping. I mean, it's just, that's what America is. That's how they do it. Anyway, that's why we played David Bowie doing Friday on My Mind. Now, why will I be playing this song? Now, this is a little bit tough. You kind of have to know the album, know the title of the song, because the singer doesn't say the title. But you'll recognize the artist. So if you're real quick and you run to your CD stacks, maybe you can find it in time to figure out why we're playing this particular tune next. Okay, a little section there, and again, I always apologize because now that we're on Facebook and we put all our episodes up on YouTube, we're not able to play full songs or more than 29 seconds of a song without worrying that, YouTube rights challenge or Facebook threatens to literally cut off the video stream for fear of angering ASCAP or BMI or WME. But you know that voice, you know that album. Boy, oh boy. Did I overplay that album when it first came out, the In My Tribe record by 10,000 Maniacs. And then I haven't listened to it in the 20 years since, because I probably played it 100 times when I first got it. So it's a terrific album if you've never heard it. But that's Natalie Merchant there with 10,000 Maniacs doing a song called a campfire song. I repeat, a campfire song. Why would I be playing a campfire song on Dave's Gone By in the middle of November? Well, not wonderful news. The Camp Fire near Sacramento, California, and then there was the Woolsey Fire near LA, and all these fires in California have cost, I think, about 100 lives. By now, there's still about 500 people unaccounted for in California in the 2 weeks that these fires have been raging. It's about 95% contained. The worst one, the Camp Fire, the worst fire in California history. And there were 150,000 acres consumed. This was days ago. More than 15,000 homes and businesses completely destroyed. And Donald Trump, in his inimitable fashion, managed to both do the wrong thing and the right thing almost simultaneously. So first, Trump was tweeting and saying, well, you know, Los Angeles and California better get its act together in terms of fire safety and clearing the brush and getting the twigs out of the way and doing controlled burns, because this happens again where America's not paying to put out your fires again. We won't declare an emergency situation, a disaster area. No, you're on your own next time, guys. And this is literally while the fire was maybe 20% contained. People were being burned to death, couldn't leave. They couldn't jump in their cars fast enough. People were being burned to death in their cars. And this is what Trump is tweeting. And then a day later, he's standing with Jerry Brown and telling Governor Brown, it's okay, we'll help you as much as we can. This is a terrible fire, worse than anybody could possibly imagine. What a president we have, ladies and gentlemen. But I believe he is helping, and we are helping out over there on the West Coast. But that is why we played the campfire here on Dave's Gone By for a campfire song from 10,000 Maniacs. Well, now you get the idea of how a Saturday Segue works. We play a little music, and you hear it, and you go, aha, I know why that is being played. With that in mind, let's hear some Faith. Ooh, I guess I don't want to say her last name. You'll just have to hear what she's singing about.
I had finally attained culture, but I still had one goal to go, social position. It was in Europe that I met the ailing Prince Czerny of Rosenzweig.
Okay, I'm going to cut it there. The hint was already there. Now, that was Faith. I'm not going to say her last name. And there's Martin Short taking us through the rest of it.
Was near.
92, 93, 94. How is he? When it hits 100, he dies. Like I needed that news. You, Nick? Yes, my dying prince. Yes, my prince would be enough.
Martin Short, ladies and gentlemen, that is from the cast album of the 1999 revival of Little Me, featuring Faith Prince and Martin Short, in a cut called The Prince and I. No, she's talking about the dying prince there. Prince, 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 Prince. Why am I doing something with the word prince all over it? What does this week have to do with something involving a prince? Well, apparently, even though it is quite clear that Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman had a hand in murdering journalist Jamal Khashoggi at an embassy in Turkey last year, Saudi Arabia remains a steadfast partner, quote unquote, of the United States. We talked about this too big to fail idea. That here he is. We kind of know the royal family's involved, just as we know the royal family was probably filtering money to the 9/11 hijackers and terrorists. And yet, Saudi Arabia, we have so much money invested in this country. And here's the deal about Donald Trump. He does speak his mind, and he tries generally not to bullshit. He's full of shit, but he tries not to bullshit. So he said a few days ago or early last week, look, this guy's probably involved. This Prince Salman, the Saudi family, They're dirty Sundays to sideways, these people are. But they buy a lot of weapons from us. They buy a ton of armaments from billions of dollars worth. So we're not going to sacrifice our economy for a little thing like morality. And he didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't whitewash it. He said, we need them. We're not going to break our economy and China's economy and some of the world economy by penalizing the Saudis for a little thing like taking a man who goes into the sanctity of an embassy expecting just to get a marriage certificate and is tortured and then hacked to death. Shit happens. And we're going to continue doing business and turning a blind eye because it doesn't really matter to us. At least it's honest. And let's face it, we do business. If we stop doing business with every country that ever did stuff that was morally objectionable, whether in the past or present or future, we would be an island unto ourselves. And then we'd have to stop doing business with ourselves. Because, what we do in this country a million times, sending things into Cuba, the Bay of Pigs, what Lord knows what we've done business-wise in various countries that didn't want us there, and there we were. What we do when we first came here to the First Nations, since we're talking about Thanksgiving, right? So is it almost hypocritical to say, well, we're not going to deal any more with Saudi Arabia because they did this murder thing? And it's like, hell, good luck. Good luck with not dealing with anybody bad. But the hypocrisy of when Trump did something really good early in his term, in his tenure, when Syria was using poison gas on its people. And Trump said, hey, I'm drawing a line in the sand, and unlike my predecessor president, we're keeping it. And we're going to bomb you. We're going to bomb your gas plant factories. And don't do it. And then Syria did it again, and Trump bombed them again. And rightfully so. It was an immoral act committed by Syria. And I guess we don't do that much business with Syria. Because Syria did one thing, and we're like, don't do it. We warned you, boom. Whereas Saudi Arabia commits a brutal murder, and it's like, oh, well, we need you guys. And we know we need you guys. And gosh, if we wouldn't have your money, and someone made the case on this, I think on MSNBC, that isn't it funny that a couple of days after there were meetings with the Saudi prince and other people, gas prices, barrels of oil came down 25%. Was that coincidence? Wasn't it, and it hurt the stock market, but gas prices at the pumps are going to go down 10, 15 cents, with the barrels coming down about $25. All of this, just after Trump was saying, hey, we need you guys to step up production. We need a lot more oil pumping because Americans are complaining that they're paying $3, $3.50 a gallon now. You bring those prices down. And so just magically, was there a deal? Deal or no deal with the Saudis? Well, I wonder. But anywho, that is why we're playing The Prince and I for the untouchable, the can get away with murder. I guess that puts him in the same ring with O.J. Simpson, but Prince Salman. Hats off to you, man, because anybody else doing that, if you were a black guy in America, they'd be putting you in an electric chair. But you got the oil. You set the rules. Good luck to you. Anyway, that's why we played The Prince and I from the 1999 revival on Broadway of Little Me. Let's see what else we got here. Oh. What else are we going to play on this Saturday segue of songs in the news? How about two things that you wouldn't think would necessarily go together? They do in the song. Oh, you heard the word there. You heard the word. He said it there. That's John and Exina from the band X, going back to their Jesus album many years ago, singing a song called Lettuce and Vodka. Lettuce and Vodka from the band X. Why would we be playing anything titled that? Take a moment. Think about it. No, it's not about eating salad on Thanksgiving for vegetarians instead of turkey. What happened with lettuce this week? Let us entertain you. Let us throw you out. Yes, everybody was throwing out lettuce all week long because the Center for Disease Control warned everybody not to eat romaine lettuce this week. There was an E. coli alert affecting everything. I mean, we're talking about big whole heads of romaine lettuce, the pre-cut lettuce, the spring mix, the Caesar salads, just anywhere, maybe because of cross-contamination. So that's what happens. If you bought lettuce, you got to take it out of your fridge. They say even if you had bought a box of lettuce and you had eaten it and you had no problem, still throw it out. So that was like $10 out of our bank account from tossing tossing salad, as it were, this week. I don't know what the latest is on the E. coli spread from the romaine lettuce. I know they pinpointed it. They found the center of where it came from, which means probably within a couple of days they'll figure out how to get all the rest of the lettuce from other places and get it back on the shelves. But people were eating some pretty paltry salads the last couple of days, and I guess drinking vodka to get over that. But that was lettuce and vodka from the band X here on Dave's Gone By. And then we've got one more in our Saturday segue of songs in the news. This is from an album, great title, Her Mystery, Not of High Heels and Eyeshadow. Such thing, there's a title track to that. But this is a different song, an older song that was revived by this artist.
Well, have you been to cities? Have you had enough? Well, have you been to Paris, France? And if you doubt that Paris was made for love, we'll give Paris one more chance, because the home of Piaf and Chevalier must have done something right to get passion this way. And if you don't think Paris was made for love, we'll give Paris one more chance.
Unmistakable voice there, of course, of Jonathan Richman. That's a song he wrote back in the early 1980s, but he did a really good version of it, revived the song, as it were, on his 2001 album, Her Mystery, Not of High Heels and Eyeshadow. But that song is Give Paris One More Chance. And no, it's not about Paris Hilton, who apparently divorced this past week, but no, it's about the other Paris, the real Paris, where things have gotten nasty there. Now, as my wife said earlier, they're always protesting in Paris. They're always going on strike over there. And yet today it apparently got pretty heavy. 23,000 people took to the streets in these yellow jackets, because if you're a yellow jacket, that's the place to be. Can't be yellow jacket. I know that joke stings. But they took to the streets and they're protesting oil prices. Notice how oil and gas is running the world, how Donald Trump will make a deal with Saudi Arabia just to keep oil prices down, so morality goes out the window. Now Paris, you've got these people who are protesting the rising price of diesel fuel. And that's the cheap one. This is but what's happening is, even though oil and fuel have gotten cheaper this week because production went up and prices went down, France has been putting big taxes on fuel to put that towards renewable and sustainable energy. So a tax went into effect that's pretty, it's like what are smaller than a euro? Something per gallon or cents, their equivalent per gallon. And then in January, it's going up again. And people are just saying, look, we've had enough. It's why is it so expensive to drive our cars? So 23,000 of these people took to the streets right near the Champs-Élysées to complain about prices. And they were not that peaceful, or at least for some reason, the French police started using tear gas to disperse them, and they're basically trying to keep them to get to government buildings. Now, the unfortunate wrinkle in all this, because anybody would want lower gas prices, whatever country you're in, and whether you're on the left wing or the right wing, but problem is that these protesters seem to be rather aligned with the right-wing National Rally Party, headed by Marine Le Pen. So these are also the people who blame immigrants for everything and who are on a side of things that we don't necessarily want to be. So we can feel sympathy for them of how, the Saudis and the Arabs and OPEC run the oil industry and have us literally since the 1970s over a barrel, figuratively. And yet at the same time, you got to look at them and it's like, hey, yeah, it wouldn't be bad if the police tear gas them. But these are anti-Macron, these folks, and it's been sparked by this right wing. Diesel fuel has risen over there by 23% in the past year to 1.5 euros per liter. So I'm not sure, a euro, I know we're almost even with the English pound at the moment. I'm not sure if the euro is still like $1.50 to 1 to the American dollar. And liter is, of course, not as much as a gallon. I'm not sure about all this, but they're the highest prices in about 18 years. And that's why, it kind of got interesting in France and is going to stay that way in the days to come, for sure. So there's a reason, kind of cool, and all the other news channels are dealing with, this person's been subpoenaed and this person's taking the deal, and the caravan on Fox News, enough with the fucking caravan. At least you can turn on like HLN or CNN and see people being tear gassed and running and being arrested. That's exciting stuff. That's the kind of thing I really want to watch. So yay for the people of France for making television interesting again. And that is our Saturday segue of songs in the news here on this Saturday morning, or early Saturday afternoon, I should say, November 24th, 2018, our post-Thanksgiving pre-Cyber Monday edition of Dave's Gone By. We've been calling it the Waits, Don't Tell Me episode of the show. Man, I can't even... hold on, I'm just trying to get to my little folder here, which I forgot to do beforehand. I'm sorry. What can I say? Okay. I can do that. Let me get to the thank yous in a little bit. But before I let you go, I want to give you a reason to tune in next week and the weeks ahead, because we've got, I'm not traveling anymore for at least a couple more weeks. So I'm here, and we'll be doing Dave's Gone By every Saturday morning from 9 until noonish or thereabouts, Mountain Time, with more comedy, more talk, more music, more weirdness, more potatoes, always more potatoes. What else do I want to tell you? Coming up next week, we're about 100% sure on this, that this will happen next week. We got some funny people and musical people as guests in the Daverhood. First of all, we have Tracy Newman. Now, Tracy Newman started as a folk singer back in the 1960s. She even had a little TV show on public television for kids as a folk singer, but then she went on to be a writer. And she ended up writing for TV on such shows as Newhart, and she she created The World According to Jim, featuring Jim Belushi. What else did she do? And the famous Coming Out episode of the Ellen DeGeneres sitcom. She was the main writer on that. So Tracy Newman, right? So she did all this TV work for many years in Hollywood. Now she's come out of that, and what happened? They all probably unwillingly age out of doing that, and she's gone back to music. And now she's doing children's songs, and she's got a couple of CDs out. We'll be talking to Tracy Newman in the Daverhood next week. And what's also kind of cool is Tracy comes from a very talented family, and she has a sister. Her sister is going to be joining us for the conversation, and her sister is probably a little bit better known than Tracy is, because her sister is Lorraine Newman, one of the original members of Saturday Night Live, one of the Coneheads. She was there back in 76, 77 with that original group of people. She also has done a bunch of movies. She was on Curb Your Enthusiasm. And over the past few years, she's worked mainly as a voice artist, done a ton of cartoons. She's in, you hear her in the Grinch movie and some minor characters. She's in, was Oswald the Octopus on TV? Yeah, Oswald the Octopus. So Lorraine Newman and Tracy Newman, both in the Daverhood next Saturday. It will be the last Saturday in November, November 30th, on Dave's Gone By. So very, very happy and excited about that. And working on some other people to get in the Daverhood for you in December and maybe towards the new year. So don't miss it. If you want to hear our older episodes, remember, they're all at our website, davesgoneby.com. D-A-V-E-S, davesgoneby.com. We have our episodes going back to the very first one. They aired 11 o'clock at night, October 6th, I believe it was, on a radio station on Long Island, 1 hour long, still kind of the same thing, in a manner of speaking. And here we are 16 and a half years later, still doing it. And on every episode, except for one or two that got lost in the ozone, every episode we've done is at davesgoneby.com in the archive section. You can download it. It's an MP3. You can stream it on your computer if you have worries about download issues. You're not going to get any viruses or anything, but, you know, people get nervous. So just listen to it on your computer like a podcast. What else can you do? We have a separate section just of the interviews on the show. So if you don't want to wade through 3.5, 4 hour programs, and you just like that, there was a woman, Renee, who was tuning in early in our show today and waiting for Thomas G. Waits to be the guest. Well, he didn't get on until about an hour and a half or so into the program. He was there, we had him. If you listen in the archives, you can skim through if you don't want to listen to the first part of the show, or just listen to the Waits interview in our archive section. That'll be up by tomorrow. So remember, davesgoneby.com. You can drop me an email, davesgoneby@AOL.com. You can check my Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2, Radio Dave the number 2. Also want to let you know that Rabbi Saul Solomon, who conducted the interview with Thomas G. Waits today, he has a website. It's called Shalom Dammit, shalomdammit.com. This is where you can read his brilliant rabbinical reflections. You can watch his hilarious TV show that he did on Long Island a decade ago. You can watch even his live stage show called Shalom Dammit. That's all at his website, shalomdammit.com. Also, I want to give a really, really big thank you to Thomas G. Waits, of course. So if you want to go to the best acting school in the world, that's his words, best acting school in the world, he does it Monday nights at the Producers Club, and you can find out more at thomasgwaits.com. Thomas G. W-A-I-T-E-S. thomasgwaits.com. And a big thank you also to Jules Filer for setting up that interview with him. And thank you most of all to my darling, adorable, and wonderful wife, Joyce, for having such a great time with me in Boston. And it was her trip. I was just kind of tagging along, and for having so much fun with us in the first part of Dave's Gone By today. Love you, hon. I'm thankful for you, not just on Thanksgiving, but every single day of the year, and an extra day on leap year. Well, it's just about 12:30 in the afternoon here, Mountain Time, in the Daverhood, where Dave's Gone By emerges. Let's see, what shall I play here to, this'll work. How are we going to end the show? How about with a song called How's It Gonna End? This is from the Real Gone album by the other Tom Waits. Because, we spent the whole time talking about Thomas G. Waits. Well, there's the other guy. Other Tom, if you're ever listening, you ever want to be on my show, please do. And hey, Thomas G. Waits, you kind of knew him. You met him when he was in New York. If you have a connection, a contact, send them my way. But for now, let's just hear the other Tom Waits with the song, How's It Gonna End? I'll tell you how it's gonna end. It's gonna end with me saying, thanks so much for listening. See you next week, and Gone By.
We had $3 a worn-out car. The wife was leaving for good. hood. Found a map of Missouri, lipstick on the glass. They must have left in the middle of the night.
Well, once again, thank you so much. It's been a blast. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for all the people who wrote in. Thank you for all the people who tuned in, were watching, were listening. You can hear the archives starting tomorrow at davesgoneby.com. If you missed anything, or if you want to share the show with people you think would enjoy it, I'll see you, hopefully, 1 week from today, 9 in the morning, Mountain Time, for another edition of Dave's Gone By. Thanks so much, and happy holidays to you.